Welcome to Down Under Sigmar. You are here, as always, with the coach and his friend. Or maybe he's a friend, maybe he isn't the friend, depending on where you stand in this community. Liam, Shadowhammer, you've had a lot of love and hate this week. How are you, mate?
I am great, and I'm loving the split community of dislike and love Liam. It's been great. I think it's soon going to be a meme very, very soon. But also, I'm the lore master. Remember that. I am also a lore master. Matt's disappointed in that comment. But yeah, I've been good, man. How about you?
I'm really well. And we might have Dave. Oh my gosh, Dave. We've just been trying to sort out some tech difficulties. Hey. And Dave comes in, takes off his shoes. Guys, we are here on the Down Under Sigma stream. We are going to be talking all things the Australian Masters, which happens this weekend down in Melbourne. We have 10 challenges to the throne. We have the back-to-back master himself. We'll do the round robin introductions first. We'll start with the master because he is the master. He won in 2017. He won in 2018. Will he win in 2019? Will he be the Triple Crown? It is Dave, the Mango himself. Kerr, how are you, Dave?
Good, mate. How are you?
Really good, really good. Glad you could join. I know the technology. You plugged your Wi-Fi into the Mango, and
no, I'm basically just like trying to access all of my information just to get on here. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm now tracking your cookies. I'm now tracking your adult website.
I'm not on my burner, so you won't get anything bad. Right. I'm Dave. As Magro nicely pointed out, I'm the current reigning master. In a week's time, we'll know if that's still the title I hold. I think it'll be a hard one.
So if anyone likes wrestling, Dave is the undisputed. He is the inaugural. He is the absolute legend. That is the master. And we have 3 people on this stream who are going to be vying for his spot. The first one is the Overlord himself. He runs Bush Radio. He runs basically the whole of Victoria. He is the legend himself. You've probably seen him on Faction Focuses. It is Joel the Overlord McGrath. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, really good. And for anyone who hasn't seen your 5,000 point mega battle, who hasn't, listened to the fine linguistics that is you guys on the source, give everyone the introduction.
That's the guilty pleasure, mate. Bush Radio, the guilty pleasure podcast, area in the community. So, yeah, get on it. It's good.
That was a good intro. And
sorry, yeah, that'll do. People should know me. If they don't,
so well known that he doesn't even need your introduction. You just know him as this guy who runs the Beast of Chaos. He runs Slaanesh. He is an absolute legend. Also a man who basically is my co-host these days. Is the mayor of Dubbo himself. He hasn't had to do any building openings today, so we reined him in. How are you, Mayor?
I'm doing well, thanks, buddy. How are you?
Good. Want to do the introduction? I mean, it's not like they've just seen the Bone Daddy video. Sorry for people who got triggered by me calling them the Bone Daddies on the stream.
Oh, and that mustache.
Yeah. Also, Staunch Lords. You can't call them Staunch Lords.
Yeah, I triggered a few people from that video.
I was fine with it. I found it was hilarious.
Anyway, Mayor, do your intro.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm Matt, the Mayor. If you haven't seen me on here before, I don't know. I'm from Albury. Been playing AOS for a few years now, and heading off to Masters finally. Missed out just last year, and pretty keen for the weekend and just catch up with old mates. And I don't think I've actually ever really spoke to Dave before, so it'd be good to catch up with him and get to meet him and and everyone else. So it should be good.
Cool. All right.
Solid crew. And then we also have Ash McEwan coming on later in the show as well, who everyone may know him from F the Meta video and a few other videos as well. So he'll be tagging along with us as well. He's also qualified for the Masters. But yes. So Magro, do we have we don't have much news for AOS.
We've got the new Battle Force boxes coming soon.
Yeah, we got that coming out this week, and then we also had some artwork released for the Slaves of Darkness, and that was it, really.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie. Big one?
There wasn't many AOS Battle Force boxes. But only 4 or something in there.
I think there's only 4 on each side.
Yeah.
Oh, is there? Oh, right.
I think so.
5 for 40k, but there's 4 Battle Force boxes, and 2 of them are based on armies from the Start Collecting box, so Stormcast and Nighthaunt. And then there's a Skaven one and a Gloomspite.
The Gloomspite, the Nighthaunt, the Stormcast, and yeah.
They're pretty good boxes. The Nighthaunt one is just so many models, like so many sprues. I can see myself opening that box being like, this is overwhelming. But yeah, like it's just overwhelming amount of sprues. But yeah. So pretty much news-wise, we only got Slaves of Darkness where we know that's coming out and they're showing off some artwork. So I think we can talk about games played. Any of you guys been doing much practice for this weekend, even though it's a big one?
A couple of games.
Yeah, how have they been going?
In between painting. I've lost them both, so great start.
Getting all your bad losses out first.
Yeah, just working out how the army works, to be honest, because it's a new army. I've only played 3 games with the army itself. The first game was a different list. It was a Nagash list. But yeah, just playing a couple of games just to, because obviously reading the book and looking at rules is a lot different actually playing the army and knowing how it works. So yeah, just trying to get those games out and just work out how it works, to be honest. Yeah. So a couple of games, both close games. Wasn't like I got whitewashed, but I have noticed one thing with the army is it just doesn't die. Like it's just both games. Like one game was against Skaven, and the other game yesterday against Jesse Perkins Feck, and yesterday against Jesse, I think I might have lost 1 hero or something. And that was against and my unit of 6 stalkers, and that was it. Like I didn't even lose half my army against Feck, so it's pretty good. Skaven the other day was a bit the same. I barely lost anything as well. So, but it's a lot different to what I'm used to playing. I'm used to playing those, obviously death and everything dies, so you just throw it in people's faces and you expect it to die. And so it's just getting my head around that. Just working out those sorts of things. So I'll try and get a game tomorrow night, hopefully, and then be ready for the weekend.
Solid. Dave, can I just say, we'll talk about your army list later, but have you practiced with this army? Have you had any practice games? Because the last time I saw you, you were running orcs, and you said, this is my master's list. And then I look at the master list, I'm like, that's not orcs.
And we will bring up lists soon. So we'll talk lists and share, and we'll share what they're actually bringing. But yeah.
I'd just like to give Matt a bit of advice here from an old wizened Masters player. If you lose all your games running for about 2-3 weeks into Masters, you'll probably win.
So finally, one of the listener questions we got was actually from the Mayor of Dubbo, and I'll read the question. He says, "Can you please ask Dave Kerr how it's going to feel for him to become the Australian Master for the next 6 months?" And then also
16 it was.
Yeah, 16 months, and also to ask for a cheat sheet on how he can beat your army. Please and thanks. So he really appreciates your insights.
Yep, no worries. It's gonna feel good for a while, mate, and then the pressure starts to build and the expectations start to build and begins to get crushing, and then you find yourself sitting in the bottom of a shower one day and you just kind of shaking a bit, and but no, a cheat sheet for beating my army is just kill the big things, I guess. Just kill all my units.
Yeah.
You can leave the Noblars, but yeah.
That was
what you do against Dave.
What you were taking.
What you do against Dave is you push it forward and hope for the best, right? That's how you play most of the armies these days.
Push it forward.
Well, that's how I'm playing mine.
Fuck her up.
So you've had practice games with the ogres, yeah?
I have. If you want me to go in later how I got to the stage of submitting an ogre list, I'll happily go through.
Right,
that was one of the questions they wanted to know, why some of you guys have submitted lists that are very new battle tomes. So potentially armies that that haven't gotten you to this point. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that one.
Because with Runex, how many games did you win with the Orcs?
2 or 3.
Oh, okay, cool. That's the reason why there's a okay. Right, which is like I swear he was running a masters list.
I think I won 3.
Okay,
yeah, I don't know. The long weekend. It was ages ago. It was like 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now.
Before list submission.
It was. That's it.
Yeah, it was like a week before, or 2 weeks before list submission. Yeah. Joel, you yourself, have you had any practice games with your army list?
So I had a couple of games with this particular list a while ago, and they're actually been bat rep, so you can go back and watch those on the Measured Gaming YouTube channel if you want to. Just
you should take it down.
Self-endorsement there. Nah, it's fine. I don't care. I've got nothing to hide. But I had a game yesterday against old mate Patrick Nevin, the Salt Master himself, and he beat me because I was just trying out some different shit. It's good to throw him a bone against Lanesh every now and again, to stop his bitching. Keeps me humble from losing. So, it's good. Tomorrow as well. So.
Another listener question was from Pat Nevin, our friend, and said, how does Joel McGrath feel recently being had a crushing defeat at the hand of the mortal Khorne army? How is it going to affect your confidence going into the Masters? So he is throwing salt. He is trying to get under your skin, even though he's not attending, and he's your club mate.
He is, yeah. I wouldn't expect anything less from him.
I think you can see that response on Twitter. I think there's a photo that Pat Nevin said, this is the face of a guy who just got defeated by a Khorne army, and it's Joel pretty much flipping us off.
Yeah, look, if that's the first time you've seen that photo, it's because every time he beats me, he takes a photo of me. I'm usually flipping him off. So, you might not see that too often.
All right, cool.
Liam, how are you going with your games? Are you doing any hobby, and are you playing any games?
I've been working, but I've had a game against Chris Welfare with New Bone Daddies, and he was not happy. He doesn't like crawlers. He thinks they're super strong, which I don't see, but yeah, he thinks they're super strong. So it's been good. I've been just enjoying the hobby part mainly. Probably trying to get everything built so I can have more practice games before CanCon. So yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah, I am building at the moment. So I've recently been hacking up a out of production high elf hero. I think he's called, what's he called, Calador or Caladron, or basically someone who's dead. The old leader of the Phoenix Guard, and I'm converting him to be free guild. So that'll be my new anointed.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I just love how you make elves into humans when it should be the other way around, when humans want to be elves.
No. This is my hobby. Don't ruin my hobby.
I'm not going to ruin your hobby.
This is why people say to me on my chat that they don't like you, Liam. Stop ruining my hobby.
Look, I'm just saying that elves are superior than humans.
I'm going to kick you off the show now. All right, we're getting completely sidetracked because Liam is being a jerk. It sounds like we're getting into the Masters chat already, which is wonderful. I just want to do a couple of quick shout outs, as we always do in every episode, and that is talk a little bit about around the grounds of what's happening. So from an event point of view, I just want to highlight next weekend there is HeroCon happening up in Brisbane. We've got Call to Glory, which is obviously CanCon, 240 players happening. If you haven't got a ticket and you want to come, jump on the wait list, contact Heralds of War. There is a wait list. People always drop out. Put your name on that register. If you come into CanCon as well, definitely check out Vince Venturella's painting workshop the day before at Jolt Gaming. I'm probably going to go there. It should be a really good time. I did his painting seminar at Adepticon, and I learned so much about non-metallic metal, and that was only in a 2-hour workshop. Victoria's just announced an event in February. The TTD, I think it's, I can't remember, something.
Throw the dice.
Throw the dice. I knew it was something. The dice. They're running a 2-dayer, their first 2-dayer, which should be really cool. And as of Saturday, the 1st of December, Doom and Darkness is getting tickets out for SAGT. It's sold out this year. It should be a great one. I'm certainly keen on going if I can get a ticket. Are you guys going to SAGT?
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Going to 3 of those 4.
Yeah.
Did enjoy myself last time.
I missed out last time. I'm pretty keen, but then it all depending on like other events that may happen next year as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Speaking of what else has happened recently, there's been a whole bunch of new content. So I'll give out some shouts. Heralds of War put out a new podcast with Dan Wosley around the living cities. Failed Charge have uploaded their whole library now of the Runex team tournament. Joel, you guys have put out your episode 50 of your video bat reps, and this was a 5,000 point mega battle.
It was, yeah. So 50th bat rep on the YouTube channel for Measured Gaming, which is pretty exciting stuff. We've smashed them out pretty quick, which is good. You get what you pay for, which is nothing. So the quality isn't the best, but yeah, they're digestible because they're short format. So go check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Check all of these guys out. Check out Joel's reps. Also worth checking out is Plastic Crack. Our good friend Peter has put up a really cool list analysis of the Masters team. So go check that out as well.
It's really good.
It's a really good one. Really good one. And then our friend Luke has put out a video around the Looncurse. I also want to give out some quick shouts, obviously, and as always, to my Patreons who are absolutely freaking amazing. Not only that, but this week, actually yesterday, we hit 2,500 subscribers. So thank you to everyone who subscribed to this channel. I really appreciate your support. Thank you to all of you guys on the stream today. Joel, Dave, Liam, Matt, and everyone who's been on the channel in the past. I really appreciate your support and your feedback. And also thank you to everyone here, Kenny, Tyler, Reflex Dog, Chaos Spawns. There's so many cool people here who have really made this channel happen, and I appreciate your support. So let's go back to the show. But someone's dog's getting excited. Do we want to talk Masters? Do we want to talk 2019? Do we want to talk about what we're expecting coming up in like literally a few days' time?
Yeah,
I agree.
Let's go straight in the deep end.
All right, I agree, Dog. Liam, kick us off.
All right, so we got this really important question for all of you. This is like a serious question. And what does the Australian Masters mean to you, Joel?
Well, it's guaranteed good times, isn't it? Really. I don't look at Masters itself as the accomplishment. I just look at getting in as the accomplishment. So this is just the reward at the end of the year kind of thing. So that's all it is to me. It's just a weekend with some people and drinking piss usually. So yeah,
solid. It's also a great weekend. So yeah,
it is.
The mayor, yourself. What does the Australian Masters mean to you?
Well, it's been something I've been playing towards for the last 2 years. So it's a bit of an achievement. It's like making it to the football grand final. Once you get there, you enjoy it. Whether you win or lose, it's, afterwards you have fun with mates. So, just looking forward to it. I want to go to be competitive. I don't expect to win, but just to go and do well and finish well is all I'm hoping for. So, should be good.
Sick. And finally, the Master himself. What does the Masters mean to you?
Look, Masters means to me street cred and hot babes. I mean, what else is there in life? Walk down the road and, shorties come up.
You drown in puss up there, mate.
So much. It's gonna be a good weekend. I'm really looking forward to this fancy schmick hotel I'm staying in. It looks dope. It's like frosted glass windows for the shower, and the shower's in the middle of the room. I'm staying with Tyler. I'm probably going to leave that door wide open.
Who are you staying with?
Tyler, are you?
Tyler, the creator. Yeah, Tyler.
I'm losing.
Tyler from Queensland.
Is he staying with us?
I don't know. I thought he was staying with me.
Oops.
Bug it.
We'll
If he doesn't stay with me, I got a big old room.
He's giving me money, so doesn't matter.
Just take
All
it.
right. Well,
Drama.
This stream's also turned now into an Airbnb discussion of who's staying where. We've got the new reality show of Big Brother coming to you.
Our group chat for this show almost turned into an Airbnb talk show.
It did.
But yeah,
Drama.
cool. So we got
three in a row though. It'd be pretty cool, I reckon.
Yeah, I think if you do 3 for a row, it's kind of like, guys, why turn up?
With three different
armies.
allegiances, Order, Chaos, and now Destro.
So you just need death.
You just need death. So we got that.
I hate death, so that'll never happen.
So a bit of context.
You know what you could do? You could do what Macro's doing, and it's like you run like a death army, but play it with other models, like a proxy, like how he's using humans as elves. You could do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I could even bring myself to do that.
Liam, I'm literally clicking kick Shadow Hammer from the stream literally right now. You talk shit about me again. A bit of context, guys, maybe just to rewind it for a second for anyone who's joining the stream who isn't in the Australian community or doesn't know what this event's all about. The Australian Masters is an invitational event only that happens at the end of our season. Traditionally, our season starts on the 1st of November and carries through until the 31st of October. This is changing for the next season, but right now it's a combination of the best tournament. I guess the people accumulate points for the tournaments they attend. The bigger the tournament, the more points are available. The top 3 ranking points or the top 3 events, I guess, come to a tally, and our top 16 are invited to an event. Now, unfortunately, a few people have dropped out, so this year we only have our top 10, but that doesn't mean that it's a lesser competition. It just means that the title is even tougher to win because there's going to be no submarines. Isn't that right, Joel?
I suppose so, yeah.
To be honest with you,
to get me saying I'm going to submarine, or you ripped me out already for the first round?
No, I wasn't going to go. Actually, you know what? It's a really good point as well. So the draw is already up, and we'll get to the draw very soon. And we've got the list as well. So the list have been published yesterday. So we've got, 6 Chaos armies, 2 Order armies, 1 Destruction, 1 Death. So Dave's taking the Destruction, Matt's taking the new Bone Daddies. We've got almost one of every Chaos. I think we've got 2 Khorne, no Zench, but there's like 1 Skaven, 1 Slaanesh,
1 Nurgle,
1 Nurgle,
Dwarf.
And 1 fake army.
Of course, and we've got the Chaos Dwarves. That's right. There's no Zench, but we've got Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah. It's a pretty good mix though of like thing. Ash, as I said before, has literally come in a really good time with his army with that. But yeah. But we'll talk about that more soon. But yeah. 10 people, it's not the usual, but it just means type of competition. And I think that's the main reason like this is like showing you why we're moving it to doing it mid-year in like 16 months. Is that right? Is it 16 months, guys?
Yeah,
the next Masters after this?
Yeah.
And
the chat's called me out. The Order armies are not just they're just not any Order army. They are 2 mixed Order armies. So we don't have to worry about Stormcast, don't have to worry about Deepkin, we don't have to worry about Fire Slayers. These are 2 mixed Order armies. So we'll bring it up on the chat pretty soon. But there's some pretty quirky lists, guys. What were your thoughts on some of the lists that were submitted? Are they representative of the meta? Do you think people are playing cheeky buggers and bringing something for lols? Do you think it's someone who's playing against the meta? Like, what were your thoughts on the list that was submitted?
They're all competitive. I wouldn't say any of them are fun list. Like, I don't think anyone's really submitted just a fun list, if you know what I mean. But they'll probably have fun with their lists. But they all look very competitive in their own way.
I'm going to call Joel out.
What?
Mate, I stood up for you. I backed you up here, and I said, "Nah, Joel's taking Gotrek and cities." And they were like, "Mate, you got rocks
like
in your
you
head."
did last year.
They're like, "Nah, he's taking Slaanesh for sure." I'm like, "Boys, he's taking Gotrek. I'm telling you." And what have you done? I didn't even practice against Slaanesh. I don't even know what Slaanesh do.
Nah, you'll be fine, mate. My army's not the 3 or 4 keepers like you normally see, so it's all good.
I've heard I've just got bags of depravity. Just body bags of depravity walking across the table.
Luckily, my list doesn't generate a whole lot, so it's all good.
Right, all right. I'll believe you this time.
Just
I mean,
pumps out a lot of mortal wounds.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's better than generating depravity is just making sure your opponent's shit's dead anyway. So, yeah.
The lists, I thought there was some interesting non-showers, but I think that probably comes to only 10 people and the usual suspects for those non-showers not coming. So I think from looking at the lists that are coming, I think if Luke had come with his Deepkin, he just would have torn it up with that many eels and, being that fast and having that turn 3 always strikes first, that just would have run amok. I'm surprised no Fire Slayers because they're just so good. And no cities, I guess. The two weird dudes who are coming are bringing mixed order, which I still think is odd, but more power to them, I guess.
All right, so Reese McGillen is bringing Legions of Asgore. We've got Joel, you're bringing Slanesh. We've got Sam Morgan, who's bringing Order. Super interesting list. He's got 3 hunting hounds, which I think is incredible. You've got Georgian. He's 20 drops. He is. You look at this list and you scratch your head. We'll talk lists properly, but it's certainly one of those lists where you're like, how on earth did this guy get to Masters? He must have been smoking something. But there's some secret list tech in this. You've got Jordan Burgess running Nurgle. You've got Ash McEwan running what is essentially a devoted of Sigmar army, but it is Order. You've got Mat Tyrrell. You're taking the AUSSIE Bone Reapers. Matt Campbell, who's well known for Khorne, is taking Khorne. Charles Black is taking the Skaven Tide. And Dave Kerr, you're taking the Mawtribes. I'm sure Doom Darkness will be screaming and cheering on your behalf. Absolutely champion of the community. And then finally, Tyler McDonald's taking Khorne. So they are the armies that are going to be coming with us this weekend.
Just want to say, we'll go through lists, but Dave, if you take out Masters again, I bet you so many people at Cancun will take your Masters list.
Yeah, they might, but they'll say it's their own. They'll just change something slightly and be like, "No, it's my list." But that's all right. It's quick, it's easy, it's good to play. I'd recommend subbing it out if you like ogres. It's very straightforward. I'm going to say there's not much tricks to it.
2 Frostlords are baller. They're good.
Frostlords are pretty bad, mate. Don't misinformation.
We were talking about your list on Bush Radio, Dave, and we recorded just after you put the photo up on Mango Mafia, like on the Facebook page, and I was like, Ethereal Amulet's the easy pick, but I know for a fact he's going to be taking Thermal Rider Cloak, so nailed it.
Yeah, it's too good. I mean, Ethereal's Ethereal. It's it's an obvious pick. If you got Ethereal, you can kind of counter Ethereal. Say 40 Plague Monks. I mean, that's pretty good against Ethereal, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Thermal Rider Cloak just helps you with everything, and it's just awesome.
So what's everyone's expectations for the event? So what's your goals? Do we have goals? Do we have expectations? Or are we just going there to have a good time?
Look, my expectations are I'm going to win until I lose my first game, and I'm just there for fun. So,
that's
as soon as I drop that first game, that's it. That's me done for the weekend. I know with 10 players, it's interesting because you can still win going 4-1 if everyone's 4-1, but it just depends, who you matched up against and how well they do with strength of schedule. So I'm just going to write myself out or off, depending on. Oh, it's a dry event, isn't it? So probably not. So it's going to be. It's just as soon as I drop that first game, that's it. I'm there for fun. I'm just going to have some laughs.
Yeah. Mayor?
As I said earlier, keen to go, try my best. I will be trying every game. Even if I do lose, I don't like losing, so I'll still be there to have fun, but I'll be trying to win still. But yeah, look, I'm taking a weekend out of my life, spending money to go to Melbourne, etc., etc. So I want to try and I'm going there for a reason. So yeah, I want to try and do well, and I probably don't have the perfect list for it just because I haven't had time to play the army as much as I'd like and refine my list. Like even after a couple of games, I'd already changed the list, but I can't do that now. So yeah, look, it'll be what it will be.
Dave, you're going to win it again?
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm there to go 3. The trifecta, back to back to back. And drop the mic at the end. Probably kick a cat on the way out. Casual things. But nah, look, I reckon it's going to be really hard for me to win it this year. With only 10 people, as Joel said, I think we can all go like 4-1 and it's up in the air. And if it comes to that, I guess it's a 2-man sack race. But yeah, I'll try win it. I'll definitely try. I always come in every game and try win it. Ask me that question in like 5 days.
All right, we'll see how you go. And speaking of questions, while we've got it up here, Al Webster has asked, Dave, what is the official snack of the Masters? And maybe I'll ask the other gentleman as well. So what's the official snack of Masters for yourself?
Shit, dog. That is a hard question.
Gammy's a big fan of Nobby's nuts.
I bet he is. Look, when I was up at Rocky for a little bit, I was known as the snackadactyl. I like all snacks, and I'm a bit of a connoisseur of snacks. One snack? I don't know, man. I don't know. I reckon I can't do it. I can't do it. It's an impossible question.
All right, maybe the mayor can help. What's the official snack of the Masters?
I don't know. I've never been. Take peanut M&M.
You could make up anything. You could say like a trail mix.
Peanut
with,
M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms. All right, you're a man of my feet. And Joel?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those peanut M&Ms, so I might say them too. They're good.
Cool.
It's a good shout.
I'll bring a big bag. I'll bring a big bag.
Yeah, I'm going peanut M&Ms too. Matt, if you're bringing them, I'll eat them.
Sweet.
Boom, done.
Right,
you can all eat my nuts.
And Liz Lockhart said Noblar nuts, so make that as you will. What's the matchup that you guys are most looking forward to, and why? Like, if you guys could get any draw in any army, whether it's the opponent or the actual faction, what's the one that you're most looking forward to, and why?
Dave Kerr.
Yeah.
Only because I always wanted to play against him. Like even last year, I was playing against Adam Burt a fair bit, and he was ranked number 1 for most of the year, and then he dropped off at the end. But yeah, I've always wanted to play Dave and never had a chance, so that's the main reason. And I'd also like to see how the ogres actually go up against the Bone Reapers, because they're both close combat armies, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
And as someone who had their poo pushed in by Dave Kerr at the Masters 2 years ago, enjoy that if you get the chance.
I will.
What's the first mission?
Battle for the Pass.
Yeah.
Battle for the Pass, right. I want to play Sam Morgan in Battle for the Pass. So I reckon it's the easiest win I'm going to get all weekend.
Well, good news is you are playing Sam.
Imagine if it was like Scorched Earth, where your whole army is like counted as 10 models.
Yeah,
like, nah.
I know. But Battle for the Pass, good mission for me, I reckon.
You got a good matchup there. A good, solid.
Joel?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to win the thing, you got to beat the bloke who won it last year, don't you? So I want to verse Dave again. See if he can go 3 for 3 against me. Excuse me, I am sick, so I'm going to cough randomly at times. Yeah, I want to verse you again, mate. See if I can pip you this time.
So, am I the only one that Dave's never beat?
I never played. I think so.
Stream?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to worry. Never played. It's just never beat.
Yes. I've never beat you, Matt.
I've never I was said I've never played euchre. We have never played. I think we've missed out like twice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you're right there.
You keep ducking him, do you,
Yeah.
mate?
It was the same with
100%.
it's the same with Adam
100%.
Burt, Adam Burt last year, wasn't it? Like you were at a few different tournaments together, both finishing first and second, and not playing each other.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't think I've played Bert at all.
No.
Yeah, avoid that.
Which, yeah, is odd.
Cool.
So, what is your least favorite matchup? So you got your favorite. What's the least? We'll start with the mayor again.
Look, depending on scenario, I would say Smorgan. If it was one with heaps of objectives around the board, because obviously my army's quite slow. Yeah, I'd say that one. It just depends on scenario for me. I feel if it's a very low number of objectives, I'm pretty good at holding objectives. Hard to move off them. So anything with more than say 3 objectives, and someone with a lot of movement, yeah, that's what I'm not looking forward to. Also, the Chorfs with their shooting might hurt as well.
Yeah. Okay. Fair call. Kerr, who's your least?
Right. Least. Trying to think of everyone who's going. I'm going to say the man who broke my heart. I was really worried about Gotrek, Joel. I was actually legit trying to think of how I was going to beat Gotrek. That little bastard's going to come in, and he's just going to kill everything he touches, isn't he? And all of my high damage, low attacks are just going to go to 1 damage. He's just going to 3-up him. What a wanker.
So what was the plan? What was the plan? You were obviously thinking about Gotrek. How are you going to handle him?
I hadn't come up with a good one yet. People were like, oh, just throw Noblast in him. I'm like, yeah, that's great, except I'll die instantly. So I think at the end I just figured I was just going to throw him just bodies after bodies. Just be like,
2 frost horns at once.
Yeah, something like that, and just try get up on objectives.
Just run away.
Look, I'm going to throw it out there. If Joel brought Gotrek, I think he would have won. And now you can't take that back.
Oh, is it too late to change my list?
I'm not your TO, but I imagine the answer is yes. It's way too late.
I want to say though, Dave,
I'm a bit worried about facing Slaanesh.
It's fair. It's fair. You are a
Gotrek's all time. So. Yeah, I'm a bit afraid of playing Slaanesh. Tyler and the mass murderer Matt. They're Khorne. If they get a good roll on me, they'll just punch through me. The AUSSIE Bone Reapers, I don't think I can kill all of them and get through their lines. Chaos Dwarves, 12 Kadai and 50 shooters is probably going to kill me. The only people that I think I'm going to beat convincingly is Sam Morgan. And I don't know, maybe I'll have a shot on Ash if I can get past turn 2.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Your camera's
So
going.
Just coming through.
There you go.
Yeah, that went weird. Someone tried to call me, so that's why I kind of went radio silence there a bit and tried to figure out my phone. So yeah, I'm pretty much afraid of everyone, to be honest, except Sam.
The master himself is afraid.
What about you, Matt?
We already got Matt. We've got Joel.
Yeah,
actually, Joel.
Yeah,
sorry, mate.
I also forgot about Joel's Slaanesh. So yeah, everyone's worried about Slaanesh. So that's why I didn't bother mention it.
Are we afraid of Joel? Are we afraid of Slaanesh? Are we afraid of Joel with Slaanesh?
I'm not afraid of Joel. I'm afraid of his Slaanesh.
Look, everyone needs to take a crutch once in their life, don't they? You know?
Yeah, but you're allowed. You've been playing them for like 3 years,
And
2
this
years.
is the perfect time to do it.
It's fair.
Yeah, well. Yeah, they've come out of retirement just for Masters, Liam, so it should be good. But my probably my worst matchup is actually against Charles Black in terms of but no thing is with Masters when we're playing at this level, no list scares me. It's just the player and the player with that particular list, right? And the matchup. So I'm fortunate enough to know who I'm playing first and in what battle plan. And Charles is going to be a really hard matchup round one. Can go either way, but yeah, that's the one that I'm sort of least hopeful about anyway. I'm confident against Khorne, confident against Bone Reapers, confident against Ogres and fucking whatever else there is. So yeah, need to be confident, don't you?
Don't be overconfident though.
No, I'm humble.
I mean, if the worldwide
sorts me
stats are anything to go by,
Yeah, well,
then you're winning, mate.
apparently so.
70% win rate. Oh,
Yours-
I just hope to be
yours
that
to
30.
lose. It's yours to lose,
Mine to
Joel.
lose. Yeah, right. Well, I should have just brought my 3 keepers in, eh?
All right, Joel, you're the
Under
favorite. If
pressure.
you don't win, it's because
You
you didn't bring because you didn't bring Go Trek. That's clearly obvious.
If I don't win,
Correct.
it's because I had one too many beers on the Friday night. That's what the problem's going to be.
If you were running Go Track, that wouldn't be a problem, Joel.
Yeah,
It'd be
you're
theming.
right.
You've done it to
Bring a
yourself.
Blast. I have.
I might actually bring up the list. We might even talk about you guys' list if that's all right with you. So I might bring up Joel. Joel, you're talking first. You clearly didn't bring Go Trek, but for the podcast listeners, I'll read out actually, Joel, you read out your list. You assuming you, or do you want me to read it
yeah.
out?
Can you read it out for me? Because I'm probably going to cough and die again.
Cool. So, Joel, you are bringing, so your allegiance is Slaanesh. You are bringing from the mortal realms of AUSSIE, and your host is the Godseeker host. What are you bringing? You're bringing a Keeper of Secrets, which is your general, the command trait of Speed Chaser. You've got, was it Sintrist Hand? You've got the artifact of the Thermal Rider Cloak. You've got a spell of the Progeny of Damnation. You've got the Attorted Capinomy, which is the Law of Slaanesh. Do you have to name your spells in advance for this one, do you?
Yeah.
Cool. Hysterical
did, yeah.
Frenzy. You've got your Baneblade. You've got 2 Baneblade Heralds of Exalted Chariots. One has
Sorry, did you just call it a Baneblade?
Oh shit, Blade. I'm trying to squint on my other monitor. This is my This is my main monitor. Here's a little side laptop monitor, so I need to like double up here. You've got the Blade Bringer Herald of Exalted Chariot. On Exalted Chariot. God damn, my English is not good today. You got an artifact with the camo of the Dark Prince, and you've got the Born of Damnation spell, and then you've got, what is it, the Enrapturous Circlet, and then the Born of Damnation. So you've double taken a spell. You've got the Mask. You've got a unit of Hellstrider with Claw Spears. You've got 3 of those, so 3 units of 5, 2 units of 5 Seekers. Then you've got 2 battalions, so one is the Seeker Cavalcade, and then you've got the Supreme Saberites. And then finally, you've got the Umbral Spell Portal, taking you to 2 command points and a total of 1990.
Filth.
At least it's homebrewed filth. But yeah, now this list can be super fast. It's got 6-inch pile-ins on most of the units, or retreat and charge. The Keeper can retreat, charge, and fly, which is always nice. The chariots do a whole heap of mortals when they charge, and if they're just in combat. And then I can blow up hordes with the Hysterical Frenzy through the spell portal. It's pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, cool. I was going to ask what you were running through that spell portal. I'm glad you. What did you say it was?
It's Mystic Shield.
Hysterical Frenzy.
Mystic Shield. Yeah. Hysterical Frenzy. There it is. All right. I'll look up what that does.
Useless against your army.
So what can we expect from this
killer.
list? What can we expect?
What you can expect from my list is it's going to be super fast. It's going to box you in, hopefully, and just sort of win on objectives and kill you when you come near me. That's the idea.
You're getting a lot of shade, by the way, in the chat here. People calling your list tame as fuck. You've got people calling it vanilla as fuck. You are copying it, and you're copying it in the chat, by the way. So
That's fine, mate. Look, if you're gonna, I said this before, if you're gonna take a crutch, you got to cop the heat.
Sorry, I like giving show Elizabeth's comment. It's the best comment ever about Slaanesh. It's so good.
So Elizabeth Lockhart, friend of the show, Lockhart, a friend of the show, has said it's vanilla as fuck, or F. Slaanesh is meant to be kinky and dirty, so she is not impressed with
What's
your
not kinky
tame
and
list.
dirty about that?
You need more Keeper of Secrets.
Apparently,
With, like those like tights. That's what they were asking. They want more on
well,
that.
look, I'll tell you right now. The Exalted Chariots, they do more damage than a keeper does, and so you have one keeper in your list, and you just double pile in with the chariots, and they do more damage than a keeper piling in twice, right? That's the logic behind it.
Oh, I kid you not. Blade Bringers are so cheap for what they can do. So
220 points is an
220.
absolute bargain. Absolutely.
But also, can we also respect Joel that you had to build those? Because F that kit right off.
No, I got Tristan to build them for me. Sucked in.
Oh, poor bastard. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
What a sucker.
And your opponent is going to be Charles Black, who's running Skaven Tide. So we've got the Grey Seer on the Screaming Bell, we've got the Grey Seer, we've got the Vermin Lord Warbringer, we've got a Plague Priest on the Plague Furnace, 20 Clan Rats, 20 Clan Rats, 20 Clan Rats, 40 Plague Monks, 40 Plague Monks, Geminids, Warp, Lightning Vortex, Soul Scream Bridge for 2,000 points on the nose, no battalions. What are your thoughts on this list, and what's your message to your opponent, Charles?
Charles, you've got 2 games up on me at the moment, mate, but it's not going to be 3. I'm gonna fucking smash you to keep it tame.
I reckon your list has got the money on this one. To
Why
be
is that,
honest,
Dave? What do you see in this?
he's got Horde Clear. He's got Horde Clear. One of those chariots should be able to take out a unit of rats. Anyone he really goes into, especially piling in twice. And he does not care if that chariot dies back, because he'll just put another one on the board like a total knobhead.
Correct. It's my crutch.
Yep.
And you can if you dispel the vortex, I mean, you're laughing. And if he bridges into you, then you're laughing.
Epitome's pretty good against magic. It's can re-roll like unbinds and dispels and all that. So, yeah.
My money's on you here, Joel.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
There's not much depravity in this list. That's the only thing, but I don't think it matters. Nah.
You don't need it.
No.
It's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Brings his own depravity.
All right, so we're thinking Joel is going to beat Charles in round 1.
I reckon.
I
I reckon it's up in the air, and I reckon it's going to be one of the games of the round. I reckon it's going to be super tight.
Yep.
If he gets the Geminids off on you, it's going to make it harder.
No, mate. We don't care.
No, but he's got bodies for those 2 middle objectives. It's not going to be an easy game, that's for sure.
No,
I think it's the bridge with the Plague Monks that I'd be most concerned about. Especially if you bring in the
once
bell with
those 80 Plague Monks dies, what is there?
Well, you can turn 1 with them if you bring them up with the Plague Furnace. So it's a pretty easy turn 1 charge.
Yeah, fair.
It's
what have you got? Like
It's
45 little riding dudes?
It's 15, 25, yeah. Which can move like 14, pile in 6.
Yeah, it's easy to screen your army, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think even if he wants to pop up 40 Plague Monks, everything in the game should be on Joel's terms.
Okay. So we're thinking it's going to be a good game.
I could be wrong.
Probably going to swing towards Joel, but could go either way. Sounds like a good game.
Chuck's a really good player as well, so he could pull something out of a hat, Who knows? And his dice have been pretty hot, so every time I've played him anyway. They're not rig or anything, but yeah, he just rolls good.
You've put him in water already.
Yeah.
Well, we know
he's got
Measure
a,
put it.
he's got a
Measure
whole
did
heap
put
of
out
those
that.
England fucking ETC dice, you know.
Yeah, okay.
We won't go there.
We're not going to go. We're not going to talk about dice because Measure Gaming did put out an amazing podcast talking about how to cook dice. I believe it was Tristan sharing his wisdom. So
yeah, just shove them in the
pot won't-
microwave for 30 seconds with the 6 facing up, and you're laughing.
the pot won't call the kettle black.
Sweet.
Dave Kerr, you are running the Mawtribe. You will be up against who are you up against? You're up against Sam Morgan from the Dwellers Below. We'll go to Sam's list very soon. Do you want to talk through our list, and do I have to read them out again?
You definitely do.
Oh, crap. All right. So, Liam, no taking the piss out of me again, because I'm going to make mistakes. So, you're running Mawtribes. You're from AUSSIE. Your Mawtribe is the Boulderhead. Very curious to hear what that's going to do for you. What have you got? You've got a Tyrant, which is your general, and his command trait is the Lord of Beasts. You've got a Butcher with a Cleaver, and you've got the Law of Gut Magic with the Rib Cracker. You've got the Frost Lord on Stonehorn with the artifact of Brand of the Svard, I think it is.
Svard.
Svard.
Yeah.
The Mount trait.
You got to say it.
Svard. Svard. I'm going to cop it in the chat. I'm sure someone from Sweden's going to smash me over that. Mount trait is the Metal Cruncher. You got the Frost Lord on Stonehorn. That's got the Thermal Rider Cloak, and it's got the Black Clatterhorn as the Mount trait. You've got 3 Ogre Gluttons. They both have clubs or blades. You've got 8 Iron Guts. You've got 20 Noblars, and then you've got the Tyrant Gut Guard for a total of 2,000 on the nose with 1 extra command point. Talk through your list.
So, firstly, let's get real here. Let's get dark and deep. Who thinks that my list is a piece of shit?
No. Those 2 Frost Lords are good.
So I think a lot of people here on the stream and probably watching haven't seen the new ogres in action yet. They might have seen 1 or 2 battles. They might have seen something maybe online, but the Beast Claw Raiders are very different in the new book. So it'd be great to hear what the new list does with this combination.
So I'll give you a bit of a backstory of my year in the making and coming to this point and what we're reading. So most of this year I've been playing Darkling Covens, and definitely for the back end of the year I was playing Darkling Covens and I was really enjoying it. I was owning it and I was having a lot of fun with them. And then the Cities of Sigmar book came out and I was like, oh yeah, cool, maybe I can fit this army into cities. And then I read some of the War Scrolls of things that I loved, and I got a bit disappointed, to be honest. And I needed to still take a Darkling Coven's allegiance to run the battalion, which is essentially how I was playing around the activation wars and getting around those kind of newer books. And I was running Gotrek in it too, and he was a bowler. I really didn't feel like that could step up. I felt like the list got weaker, which was a bit frustrating. So I tried to play, what's the Orc one? Clans?
The War Clans?
War Clans, yeah.
Big War.
Yeah, Big War. And I really wanted that to gel with me because I wanted to be called Big War. But unfortunately, I didn't nail something that I really liked and something that kind of meshed with me. So I was sitting there a bit dismayed, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And then someone from the chat sent through that they'd just been smashed by Beast Claw Raiders, and that kind of like my ears pricked up a little bit, and I was like, oh, goody. And then I I've had a couple of games with them, and I reckon they do all right. And they definitely have the gear and the means to win games. And yeah, I kind of threw this book off as a bit of a dud to begin with, but after I played it, it's definitely got feet on it. And I think it will catch people out in some games with the best rule that they got. But I'll let people find that out themselves. So, yeah, essentially this list has kind of 3 main units in it, which is pretty obvious, the 2 Frost Lords and the Iron Guts. I can't really go deep diving on this list because there isn't much to it. There's no overlappings. This list, and it's kind of go.
So what is in the battalion and what does it do?
So the battalion contains the Tyrant. Yeah, the Tyrant and the Iron Guts is in that battalion. And it doesn't do anything worthwhile.
Nope.
If Rune goes on the Tyrant, I can flick it off onto the Iron Guts. Yeah, I wanted 2 artifacts on my Frost Lords. I want that Thermal Rider Cloak. Bad. I wanted it bad. And I really like the Boulderhead Mawtribe. I don't give it away, Liam. Shit, man. Yeah, it's a Flying Stonehorn. And it's the best. And everyone who I've told about is like, well, I'm going to kill that first. I'm like, fuck you. But yeah, the kind of list has been done in a way where it's very self-contained. There's no Holy Withins that I need to keep. There's no like buffs and overlapping buffs, and like if one of the characters dies, it takes away the strategy and the synergies, and every unit does what it needs to do, and it doesn't need that extra support. The Butcher is in there because he's cool, and I like the Maw. And if the Maw goes off, it's the best thing ever. And it's only really gone off once for me, and it went off 5 times, and I killed, I'm going to say, most of a Terrorgeist. And that was the best.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, other than that, it's a very punchy list, very punchy army that cruises up the board and tries to kill you. That's about it.
Awesome. I think,
and it's why I landed on Mawtribes.
I think it's a super interesting list. I think people are going to be very curious to see how they go. And your opponent will be Sam Morgan from the Dwellers Below, who's running the Allegiance Order, which is coming from Orgu. He's taking the Tenabral Shard, which is your general with the command trait of Legendary Fighter and the Sword of Judgment. We've got the Rune Lord. We've got a Knight of Zeros. We have a Rune Smiter with the Runic Iron. We've got 20 Longbeards. We have 1 Gyrocopter, 20 Shadow Warriors, 10 Shadow Warriors, 10 Shadow Warriors, 10 Arcanaut Company with 3 Skyhawks, another 10 Arcanauts with 3 Skyhawks, 10 Hearthguard Berserkers, 5 Canary, 5 Canary, 5 Chameleon Skinks, 5 Tree Revs, 5 Tree Revs, then my personal favorite, 1 Hunting Hound, 1 Hunting Hound, 1 Hunting Hound. So that's a total of 2,000 points. What's your hot take on this, Dave? How are you seeing this list?
Firstly, I'd like to say hello to Ash, you sneaky dog, just coming in, unannounced, just sliding in that back door.
We'll ring him up. Hey, Ash, how are you, mate?
Hey, guys.
The list, I suppose it's putting a lot of units off the board, or it has the ability to put a lot of units off the board. It has a lot of units that it can just put up in lines of blocks, and it can kind of flood, and there's a bit of movement shenanigans like in those Skinks and Revenants and Heart Renders. But I don't know. Other than the Tenebral Shard, which it's kind of got to get lucky, doesn't it? I mean, it has to get a 4+ to jump into combat.
Yeah.
And then it has to get 5 ups to hit, and then he has to roll well on a D6. I mean, I know it can work, and I know it's pretty cool. Yeah, personally, I just don't like things that involve that many dice rolls to make something happen. So, Yeah, I'm kind of seeing the Berserkers as a threat unit to take things down, but I mean,
You've got a lot of
I don't know
movement
how he's going to
shenanigans.
kill me, to be honest.
You've got the Canary coming from the sky. We've got the Shadow Warriors popping out around the board. We've got the Tree Revs so you can do some sideboarding. The Chameleon Skinks can jump around the board. Obviously, the Tenarbral Shard as well can jump around the board. So a lot of movement shenanigans, a lot of multiple small units, a lot. He's going to flood the board and play movement shenanigans with you. But, yeah, good question. How's he going to win it? How's he going to kill you?
So
he definitely will. He'll be able to move around the board and control it. No, you go, mate.
The idea behind the list is to sort of not be in combat with you and just outcap you on objectives. However, with your models counting as 10 for like the Frosties and then like the other ones counting as 2 each, he's going to have a hard time trying to commit that many models into the proximity of the Achille units. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting matchup, but all you need to do is just take first turn, walk up the board, and sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that too a little bit.
To go grab it.
2 stone on.
He will. He'll definitely use multiple of his units to grab it, but at the end of the day, like, how's that trade going to go? Because it is a 5-turn game.
That's right.
How's he going to come better in the trade game?
Matchups.
Oh yeah, for most matchups.
For most matchups, he would only use 1 unit.
Yeah, I just think this is one of the best lists for me to play against with my shit list. Purely because of that that models counting as multiple models. It just makes it hard for him.
It does.
Yeah. And also the Temple Shard, as you said, it's so swingy, but when it goes off on like a support character, like not even like the big guys, it does the job. But he does have to roll a lot of dice to make it work. Okay, cool. We're doing Ashes.
Yeah, we might as well bring Ash into the fold. Although the mayor and Joel have been waiting patiently, let's get Ash to explain a little bit about his list and what he's bringing and why, and what's the list tech here.
Yeah, sure. So do you want me to talk you through it? Talk you through it on the screen?
Yeah, let's do it. Yes, please.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, if you want to read.
All right. So we've got Frigil General. So he's just on foot. He's there, kind of a last-minute addition to the list. Him and the crossbowman, because I needed to fill out some battle lines since Flagellants are only battle line in Cities of Sigmar now. But yeah, the list is essentially it's a devoted Sigmar list with some free guild thrown in there. And it's based off the list that I took to Sydney GT, which was obviously 2,500 points. But this is kind of the scaled back version of that. So yeah, Free Guild General, so Allegiance Order, Mortal Realm, Ulgu. Then we've got the Warrior Priest, and this is why we've got Ulgu as the Mortal Realm. So he's got the Sword of Judgment and Legendary Fighter, which seems to be a standard for mixed order lists these days. And I've got the 2 War Altars in there, which can get +2 to hit onto him, so you can make that Sword of Judgment go off on 4s. Then I've got another Warrior Priest in there for some redundancy on the prayers. Again, the War Altars for more redundancy on their prayers as well. And a Knight Incanter in there for the endless spells, and also for some shenanigans in killing my own Flagellants so that they get the extra attacks. Then 3 10s of crossbowmen to fill out the battle line. Those guys work well with the general because they're 24-inch range. If they don't move, they get an extra attack each, and then you use the Free Guild General's command ability to give them +1 to hit and wound, so you can get 60 attacks out of those battle line units 3s by 2s at range. So they're pretty solid. Then we've got 2 40s of Flagellants and just a 10 of Flagellants because I had some points left over and not enough hero slots to throw anything else in. And then we got Lorchan the Soul Seeker. He works really well with the Flagellants as well because he'll kill one of them as he teleports them, and then that gives them an extra attack. So yeah, gives them the hitting power on the charge as well as when they get charged. And then the Everblaze Comet, which is always solid and a good second option in the scenarios where I don't want to be throwing the Flagellants up the board first turn.
I think the big standout for a lot of people is at the Masters there are 10 armies, and of that 6 of them are chaos. So I think about the War Altars and their additional shooty attacks against chaos. They are some good choices. Was that a gamble that you were thinking there was going to be a high chaos representation, or what was your thinking behind this?
Well, that was part of why I chose to take this list over my Night On, because I have played both of those lists throughout this year. And I ended up landing on this list because I'm not sure if it's going to be viable in a year's time. And I wanted to be able to play each of my armies at the Masters level. So so far I've played my 2 others, my Zinch and my Ironjaws, and then it was a choice between the Nighthaunt and the Devoted. And with Slaanesh being strong in the meta at the moment, Khorne, I know that there's 2 players that made it to Masters with their Khorne armies. So it was a safe bet to say that there's going to be quite a few demons and chaos armies there. So with the War Altars doubling up their damage against those guys, it's a pretty solid option.
Got any questions you guys have about Ash's list? Do you think
It's pretty straightforward, old compendium shit, isn't it?
I mean, it's no Warhammer or anything, but
I can't believe they let in like 2 to 3 made-up armies to this event. It's ridiculous.
This is the year for the made-up armies.
So those the Flagellants and the War Altars aren't in cities, obviously.
Yeah, well, the Flagellants are in cities, but the War Altars, the Warrior Priests aren't. So you lose all of the buffs that you'd be able to put onto the Flagellants. And I just didn't have any other models to put into a cities list. So yeah,
I have not actually looked at what a War Altar does, but I've heard it's pretty nasty against chaos.
The nasty bit against chaos, it's a big laser beam. It's a light of banishment. So it's D3 attacks for each War Altar, 20-inch range. They move 10. And then you've got 3s by 2s and -1 rend or -2 against demons. And then it's 3 damage or 6 damage against chaos. So can get quite a bit of damage out of there.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Cool.
And you got 2 of them.
It's racist as hell.
It's why Joel's only taking 1 keeper.
Yeah.
Oi, Joel, you're regretting not taking Gotrek even more now?
No, mate, no, it's all good.
Wait, are you not taking Gotrek?
No, I got something else, mate.
Oh, Ash.
Have you seen the
Ash,
list?
you beautiful man, you missed it.
I've been watching, guys. I'm just jumping in with joke.
Man.
I thought I would troll everyone on the Masters Facebook group. It's just got the info on it because Dave Kerr trolled us with Ideneth last year, so I thought payback's a bitch.
Yeah, I should have put
some
pictures
very
about that. Yeah,
that was still the biggest
very
troll ever. Still the biggest troll ever. So good.
Ash's opponent, by the way, is Tyler McDonald. Liam, do you want to run through the list?
Yeah, so this one's a Khorne. It's from the mortal realm of Shaiish, and it's the Reapers of Vengeance slaughter host. It's a Rathakorn Bloodthirster who's a general with the Mage Eater trait, the artifact for Skull Shard Mantle, another Bloodthirster, which was an unvetted Fury, another Bloodthirster with Sedated Rage with the Ragged Cloak, Scarbrand, Slaughter Priest with Blood Blessing with Killing Frenzy, 10 Blood Reavers, 10 Blood Reavers, 10 Blood Reavers, 10 Blood Reavers, 5 Centaurs, and Tyrants of Blood Battalion. He has some skulls, and he also has an extra command point. He ends at 1990, and he has 2 extra command points. And it's interesting because Centaurs are technically allies, and they have not been counted unless this is a different format that Clint's using. But yeah, that is his list. And
Ash, how do you think you're going to go? And what's your
solid.
opponent? What do you got to say to your opponent?
Well, I'm not actually
Trash talk.
sure
Get a trash talk, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I don't know if I've met Tyler actually, because I've been to a lot of the events up in Queensland, but I'm not sure if I've met him. I've definitely not played against his Khorne, and I'm going to feel terrible now if I have in fact played him, and that's going to be awful. But
do you remember a tradie looking bloke drinking 2-litre bottles of Icebreaker?
That could have been any of you guys. Sorry, man.
That's just a stereotype of Queensland.
he loves the tradie juice, mate. If you bring him a nice fresh icebreaker, that'll go a long way.
We'll be good. All right.
I did meet him at Breezehammer, and correct me if I'm wrong, not only did he do really well at Breezehammer, but he also won best opponent general. So he's a good sport, and he's a good player.
Oh, awesome. That's going to be a fun game then. Looking at his list, it's an interesting scenario for it. Yeah, Pat and Evan, generic Tyrants of Blood, that's the one. So it's an interesting scenario because neither of us will be able to hit the other person on turn one. His Bloodthirsters don't have the movement for it, and even with Lorch and the Soul Seeker, because of the shape of the deployment zone, I'm not going to hit him first turn either. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, like whether he lets me flood the board or if he tries to get a commanding position on the tabletop. It's going to be really interesting.
You know what I think he's going to do?
I love how...
Oh, you go.
No, you go, Joel.
You're the guest. Joel.
What he's going to try and do, in my opinion, is by the way, I know for a fact that he's got real sweaty palms at the moment because he's got matched up against an anti-demon army. But I don't know what he's going to do, but what I think he's going to do is give you first turn, eat the shooting, and just try and blitz you with a double. Use the Senegors just to tie you up all your sort of flagellants, so you can't really progress any further than where you go on turn one. And then just come in and try and smash on the double. I think that's his only game plan.
That sounds like what I was expecting, so it's good that I've made some plans around that at least. But yeah, it's going to be close. I think the big thing that's going to help him out is that Rayo Cloak on his Insensate Rage, because it's going to force me to move the War Altars up really far forwards to hit one of the other Bloodthirsters.
Yeah. Are you scared about his psychic ability to know who got matched in there first and take that? Because who takes that?
Yeah. Yeah, no one takes that. That's totally unfair.
It's actually...
Resubmit.
I think you're going to see Ragged Cloak heaps now because of, like, you're seeing armies with heaps of shooting, like Bone Reapers and stuff now. So I think at CanCon you might see a lot of it. But it isn't like the first choice. But if you know that the meta's changing to shooting, so yeah, he definitely has some psychic abilities. That's for sure. I was going to say. Wait, what?
I was just going to say the Hexgorger Skulls clearly doesn't worry you other than for your Incantor. And I think those laser beams off the War Altar are going to do some crazy damage to some Bloodthirsters.
Yeah, the Hexgorger Skulls are solid, but like you say, particularly on the first turn, my Incantors are going to be way back off the back of my front lines. I'm not going to be sitting him at the pinnacle of the charging point. So yeah, he's not likely to influence him too much in the first turn, at least.
Hey Ash, I saw today that old mate, the head honcho for AOS in the October White Dwarf, was talking about what are you taking? The flagellant things?
Oh yeah,
the crazy boys.
Is that Ben Johnson? Was he talking about the flagellants?
No, not Ben Johnson. The head dude.
The head dude.
Andy? Maybe Andy something? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, It was in the White Dwarf. He was talking up the Sigmar boys, the crazy Sigmar boys.
Yeah, right.
So maybe that's a new army in the future, mate. Just getting you pre-excited about something that might not happen.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. This is like the taking the Chaos Dwarf Codex off the Forge World website. It's just tempting fate.
Yeah, what about that? If there's no official codex, how does the Chaos Dwarf player play?
Well, it's just a compendium army, same as Ash's list. Right?
Yeah.
Army now. He's running the Aussie Bone Reapers, the Petrifex Elite Legion. And then he's got a Legion Cavalos with the Mighty Arc. Okay, How on earth I'll pronounce that? Even though I play the book, but he has a trait, Mighty Arcade. That one. He has the Godbone armor. He's got a Bone Shaper with the Archers and Key. Okay, Magri, how did you give that a goddamn shot?
No, keep going. You're the bone.
And then can I get? Yeah, and now I got Drain Vitality Shaper and another Bone Shaper with the Empowered Naderite weapons, and we got another. We got Soul Mason with the Reinforced Battle Shield spell. Then we got 20 Mortec Guard, 2 with Great Blades, 20 Mortec Guard, 2 with Great Blades, 20 Mortec Guard, 2 Great Blades, and then we have 6 Necropolis Stalkers with 2 Dread Falchions, and then we got the Mortec Shield Corps Battalion, and we have all the endless spells from Bone Reapers with the Bone Type Shrieker, Nightmare Predator, and the Soul Stealer Carrion. 1990 points with 1 extra command point. So, Matt, what is your go of your list?
1 point. That 1 extra point's just from the battalion. I don't actually get command points.
Oh, we know.
So yeah. So my list is I don't know. It's pretty straightforward. It's just hard to kill. The Mortec Guard are they're deceivingly hard to kill. There's 60 wounds worth there with a 3-up re-rolling save. The Mortec Shield Corps gives me each turn gives me a free shield wall ability for one of those units. So it's saving me 2 points, 2 discipline points each battle round. The Liege Cavalos, his command ability gives +1 attacks to a unit wholly within 12. Can't stack, but it's pretty good. The 2 Bone Shapers, they're obviously healers, bring models back, and then they're also spellcasters. The Soul Mason's the same. Pretty much, he just has a good spell, and then he can cast endless spells, whatever. I don't know. It's a pretty straightforward list. It's all about just not dying. Obviously, the Mortec Guard are really hard to kill, but they're actually really good in combat. You can get them to... So they've got 2 attacks each. They're this is just base 2 attacks each. They hit on 3s, wound on 4s. I've got a spell I can cast on them to ignore mortal wounds on a 5-up. They also ignore mortal wounds or any wounds on a 6-up, death save. Yeah, I don't know. They're straightforward. Their weapons explode on a 6. There's another spell makes it explode on a 5. So the endless spell, the Tithe Shrieker, gives me +1 to hit within 12 inches. So they can be hitting on 2s, exploding 5s. They can be re-rolling 1s to hit. It's just their wound rolls that lets them down. They're wounding on 4s. But yeah, they're quite deadly in combat. And then you got the Stalkers. They're a 400-point unit. They do what a 400-point unit sort of does. They just can do a lot of damage if you put them in that stance, or they also can tank a fair bit away too. But yeah, that's pretty much what the army does. There's not really much to hide with my army.
You're not as deadly as the ogres, though.
Not as deadly as ogres, and different to what I've ran in the past. So earlier, probably the last 2 years, the last year and a half, I've been running legions and a gash, and running all about just running up the board, doing a heap of wounds. My units die, I just bring them back. With the points changes at the middle of the year, I had to my list sort of went up 50 points. So I lost an extra command point, lost a few things. So I've sort of haven't really played them except Sydney GT because I could fit more into the 2,500 points. But that's kind of why I've steered away from the legions for the Masters and gone with the new army. I wanted to try the new army as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Have our other players had an opportunity to play against the Bone Reapers yet?
I'm excited to see how you go.
I tried to line up a game against Liam, but he chickened out. So yeah, no, I haven't played against the Bone Reapers yet.
Are you serious? I came back faster. That's unfair. No, Nah, I think after Masters, me and Ash will be playing a game straight after, pretty much, depending how he feels. So
Definitely. I'm so keen.
yeah. Dave, have you played the? Dave, have you had a game yet?
Against Bone
The Master.
Reapers. Matt, I've played
Yeah.
against him about 20 times already. I think I know that army better than you do.
Oh, good. You might be
be
able to tell me
honest.
how it works.
Yeah. Nah, mate. I haven't played them once. I haven't even looked through their war scrolls. So I'm pretty sure you could just say things and I'll be like, yeah, cool, man. Keep going.
So, Mayor,
I've just heard that they don't die.
Good to know.
Mayor, do him a
If we get
favor and
paid up-
tell
if we
Dave.
if we get paired up at CanCon,
I am not going CanCon, so good luck on that.
So what was that, Magro?
I was going to say, Mayor, do Dave a favor and explain how he's going to beat you.
Mortal
Please.
wounds, Dave. I don't think your ogre gluttons won't even kill. They'll be lucky to kill one model in the Mortek guard. But I think your Stonehorns are definitely going to smash through them with their mortals on the charge, and then especially I'm really worried about the metal cruncher with the D6 mortal wounds at the start of combat phase, and obviously all the rend on your big guys. But even with your 2 rend, I'm still a 5-up save re-rolling, and then I've got a bit of neg 1 in my army and stuff like that. So I think it's just going to come down to your mortal wounds. We'll just sort of smash through me, I reckon. But I think I'm not worried about your other, like your even Iron Guts with their 1 rend will do a fair bit of damage. But it's just that I'm a 4-up save re-rolling, so I'm gonna hopefully negate a fair bit of whatever they put through.
What's your mortal wound save? You have a death save 6-up, obviously.
I've got a death save, yeah. I've also got a spell I can cast on a unit, which is ignore mortal wounds on a 5-up. So I could cast that on my front unit of Mortek or whatever, and they're ignoring 5-up.
So
6-up.
do you want to give the audience just like a pre-demonstration of how bad it's going to hurt when I maul off a whole unit? It's gonna happen.
My Bone Tithe Nexus, I can put it in the middle of the board and then pick one of you only have 1 spell caster, so I can make it neg 1 to cast and neg 1 to unbind and dispel. On a 2-up for the whole turn. So good luck getting it off on a 9.
Awesome.
Or an 8 if you need.
A 9.
Well, what's
I'm next to my duda. Goes off on a 7.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Average. That's what I'm all about.
Look, you've definitely got the mortal wounds there to smash my army.
What do you reckon about Joel Slanesh? Because that's got a lot of mortal wounds in it. More than mine, I think.
Yeah, look, definitely.
Tell you what, Matt, if we get paired up against each other, I'm going to absolutely fucking smash you off the table, mate.
I played a Slanesh the other night with my Nagash list, so it wasn't this list, but I had a unit of 20 Mortek Guard in combat with Exalted Chariot, a normal chariot, and what's the big bitch?
Keeper,
and they survived 2 rounds of combat because they had the 5-up mortal wound save, and they actually killed they killed the keeper and nearly killed both chariots. So that was
Matt, don't dodge the question. Respond to Joel properly.
No. No, look, I honestly, I don't think I can beat Joel. I'm not saying I can beat him, especially with the Locust. That Locust is a bitch, because otherwise, those Mortek Guard, even a unit of them hitting, if I get to go first into his keeper, they're 2 rend, so he's got a 6-up save against all the wounds coming in. Keepers. I know Joel knows that the keepers. His pride and joy are the Seeker chariot, the big chariots, and Yeah, but insane. The only thing that the chariots can do to me is the mortal wounds. Their multiple amounts of attacks don't really get through the Mortec saves, just because they don't have a lot of rend.
Best way to
You've
get
got
through high armor is weighted dice, mate, and they're rolling 26 attacks each.
Yeah, but if you don't have rend, it's a 3-up save and then a 3-up again. Like I get to re-roll saves.
Yeah, you need like 120 attacks to get through that, man. No one's got that.
No, I'm not saying that they're going to do it by themselves, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Witch elves.
Yeah, bring back daughters.
Or
No, yeah, I was just speaking more
or
in general.
flagellant or plague monk.
Don't say that, Mango.
You're definitely
Speaking about plague monks,
I'm definitely worried about Joel's list. Don't you worry. Yeah.
Sorry, mate, it's only Slanesh. They're pretty shit, aren't they?
I'm not giving you any depravity. That's a good thing.
So we got Burgess. This is his first time at Masters. He's new to the scene this year, and he made it in. So we got Nurgle in the realm of Hish. We got a Harbinger Decay, who's a general who is resilient with the Witherstave artifact. A lot of blights with the Everquartz Brooch. A sorcerer with Blades of Putrefaction spell, and Rodriguez with Glorious. 5/5/5 Black Kings in a Blight Cyst with the sorcerer. The Harbinger Decay is in that as well. I don't remember. And then we got 30 Plague Bearers and 30 Plague Monks with the double blades and the banner and Doom Gongs. One extra command point. What are your thoughts going up against this, Matt?
Well, he's a 4-up. He's a 4-drop. Sorry. I'm a 5-drop. So. He's already been asking me a lot of questions about my army, and I've been pretty open with him and telling him how my army works. I don't want to go there and have any gotcha moments or anything like that, so I'm happy to explain how it works. But yeah, so I've sort of been getting into his head about who takes first turn, and now it's all up to him to decide. Like with the 4-drop, and I'm a 5, because I think he was pretty happy to have that extra drop. That less drop, and I'm like, well, that's good because now I don't want that choice. And he's like, oh, okay. But look, this list, as far as him killing me, I think the Plague Monks are probably the only thing there, and Rodriguez that might kill my units. But it's more the numbers. He has the numbers for objectives. The Blight Kings, I'm definitely not worried about. I can obviously tank most of the stuff here. Like Plague Bearers are not going to damage me, but they're going to hold objectives. So the other thing is we're both really slow armies, and getting to those two middle objectives first turn for either of us is going to be really hard. Blight Kings are what a 4-inch, 5-inch move. Plague Bearers are 4-inch. Plague Monks are maybe a 6-inch, are they? So yeah, it's gonna be difficult for both of us. Like obviously, I can spend a discipline point to make 3-inch extra on my unit, so I've probably got the better chance of getting to those middle ones first turn.
He's also got the wheel to add 2 to his move.
Yes, if he gets the right roll.
Also,
he can't.
Also, he can make a run roll of a 6.
Yes, he can spend a command point to make a 6. But I think with the objectives the way they are, if you put your model right at the tip of that point and to that first objective, I think you need 18-inch or move to get to it, to within. No, it's 18 inches. I don't know now. I think it's 18 inches away. So you need to get at least a 13-inch move.
Just under 17 inches away. So yeah, you need a run roll of a 6 and a 6-inch move to basically guarantee yourself to get there.
Yeah. So he might get one of them, but yeah, it's if he had more movement and he got those 2 big units up to that middle first turn, it's going to be really hard for me to get him. But look, I think it's going to be a bit of a slap fest, this fight. Obviously we're just both don't die. He's got stuff that doesn't die. I don't know. How do you guys see it going?
You already know what I think,
looking
so
at
I'll let
this.
everyone else.
I just feel like Nurgle have lost a bit, I suppose. I don't know, like it's Nurgle. He can screen out the bearers, which are hard to kill. But you're right, the kings aren't going to do much at all. And his mortal wounds in this Nurgle list is actually fairly minimal.
Yeah.
It's just
So I
the
think
blade,
it'll just be a case of
the blade spell.
yeah, it's the blades, but he's got no way of boosting that. And your stupid terrain piece that you just explained to me
Yeah.
will make that an 8, which I don't know. I've played Nurgle and even a 7. I feel like that's hard to get off.
Yeah.
I think it'll just come down to who controls the objectives first.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I can get my stalkers. My stalkers move a fair bit. They can move up quite easy on one. It's just getting a run roll for my more tech guard for the other side or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. See how it goes.
So, what is the Aether Quartz brooch for in this list? Am I missing something?
So I played Jordan heaps. He uses the Aether Quartz brooch because he has an extra artifact, and also he wants to use the Harbinger of Decay's command ability and also another command ability. So he wants to use multiple, so it's just there for farming.
He wants to use the Lord of
He's
Blight.
just there for Lord of Blights.
Yeah, so he can make his
Yeah, I get the Lord of Blights and the Plague Bearers. We put it on
so
the
he wants
bearers to
it
make
to-
a Neg 2 in melee and Neg 4 shooting.
Yeah, so he wants to do it on
Okay,
that, but then
okay.
also he wants to make the Blight Kings like 5-up ward as well. He wants the cake and eat it. Is pretty much what he's going for. So yeah.
Yeah,
So it sounds like this match is going to be an absolute grind, but we're assuming and guessing, I guess, that Jordan doesn't have the mortal wound output to take down Mat Tyrrell. Is that a fair assumption?
I think so. And I reckon in 2.5 hour rounds, this game's going to go to time, just purely based on the grind.
Yeah. Look, Rodicus can do a few mortal
The way
wounds too,
I've
in
described it
spell,
to both Matt.
You go.
Yeah, the way I described this to both Matt and Jordan, because I both messaged him. Jordan does better Nurgle is the best way to describe it. Like he's Nurgle but better, and the durability. When like Nurgle about a year ago, pretty much was like about being durable and debuffing. Matt's army just does that newer and better. So yeah.
Yeah. He's because you regrow units, don't you?
Yeah, I can't bring back.
Sounds like something stupid that Death would do.
Yeah, I can't bring
Yeah,
back.
he's Rodicus, like you said, he could do mortal wounds. He does D3 on a number of units, so you can just grow them back.
Yeah.
I think for Nurgle in this kind of environment, I think it needs to go more of the armor debuff route, where you can get up to -4 minus on an armor. And if you did that, then those Blight Kings would just be tearing you up.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not that list.
I think this list was the same list that he took to his first tournament, which he podiumed with.
Came third at Border Wars.
Yeah, so I think this is a bit of a
Second.
throwback for him, like an homage to the list that he took to start out his tournament career, and then like bringing it to Masters as well. So yeah.
Cool. We'll move forward with the last battle round, the last battle, which is going to be Reese's Legion of Asgore, which is going to be the Bull Centaur Torok. We've got which is the general, which has the command trait of Grotesque, and the artifact of armor of blah blah blah. We have the Demon Smith. We have a Contorted Epitome, interesting, an ally choice. We have 30 Infernal Guard. We've got the Fireglaves. We've got 10 Fireglaves, 10 Fireglaves, 12 Kadai Fireborn. We've got a Skullcracker. We've got a Magma Cannon and a Magma Cannon. We've got the Bridge. So that's 2K. That is going to come up against Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell's running the Blades of his Blades of Khorne, which is Gur, Reaper of Vengeance, which is going to have the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, which is the General, the Mage Eater command trait. The Skull Shard Mantle is the artifact. We have a Bloodthirster of Incessant Rage with the Amberglaive. We have the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury with the Crimson Crown. We have a Skull Taker, a Slaughter Priest, which has Killing Frenzy. We have a Blood Secretor. We have 5 Flesh Hounds, 5 Flesh Hounds, 5 Flesh Hounds, 5 Flesh Hounds, 5 Flesh Hounds. So 5 of 5. And then we have the Tyrants of Blood, the Murder Host, coming in at 1980 with 2 command points. So maybe quick round robin. How do you think we're going to go? Matt's Blades of Khorne versus Reese's Compendium, Not a Real Army. Hashtag it however you want to. The Legions of Asgore.
I think Matt's got this. He can just run. He's only got to run those two units of Flesh Hounds up to grab the objectives if he's given first turn or takes it. And then he those 3 Bloodthirsters, we all know what they can do and what they do with Tyrants of Blood and Murder Hosts. So it's a very, very tough list. He knows how to play it well. Also, he wants those Flesh Hounds to be dying to get those blood ties so he can get extra moves for his Bloodthirsters or all that sort of jazz. Look, it's going to be a very tough matchup. I know Reese has got a bit of shooting, so that'll help him. But I think if Matt's smart, he's holding most of his stuff out of range that first turn anyway. So I think it's Matt's game to lose, to be honest.
All right, so Mayor thinks Matt. Who else wants to put their hat in the ring?
I'll say. You go.
Nah, I'm letting you go, Joel.
I reckon my boy Rice is going to shoot all of Matt's stuff off the table and win.
All right, so we got one apiece.
Yeah, I reckon he is very adept to the Chorfs. He's been playing them for the better part of 2 years, and he has fine-tuned this list and his play style towards it for a very, very long time. And I know Matt's in the same boat with his Khorne, but I think Khorne have a lower ceiling than what the Chorfs do.
Okay. So we've got one apiece.
I reckon that the Chorfs are going to shoot Matt off the table, like Joel said. And then those Kadai, they'll tear stuff up and they fly.
Oh, mate, they eat Bloodthirsters and all that shit for days.
Yeah, like a Bloodthirster, he's got maybe one, but I don't think he even took the +1 save. I don't know, like, I'm not going to tear apart Matt's list because his list is amazing and it's proven. But, yeah, those Kadai are going to eat up Thirsters. He's got 50 shooters plus the 2 cannons. His Skullcracker is no joke. And if Khorne go up and sit on those objectives, they're just going to get shot off. I think this is the Chaos Dwarfs game.
Interesting. And Joel Graham in the chat saying he reckons Chorfs can do it as well because he's got the Soul Scream Bridge. So interesting call out. Ash, what are your thoughts?
I think the Soul Scream Bridge is unlikely to get cast this game.
Yeah.
But I think with the scenario, it's going to be very dependent on who takes the first turn, because I think if Matt goes first with the amount of extra movement he's got on those Flesh Hounds with the Murder Host, he could zone off the board pretty well and just get positional on the objectives as he needs to. But then that said, the shooting from the Chorfs is no joke. So again, depending on a few dice rolls with the Magma Cannons, if you can get some lucky 6s on those guys into a Thirster, it's going to be really interesting. I don't think I want to call this one either way. I think that this is going to be one of the closer games in that first round.
All right, so we got 2 people on the side of Reese. We've got 1 person on the side of Matt. We have Ash, who doesn't want to make a call. He's down the middle. Liam, where are you at with this one?
Yeah, you guys are gonna hate me, but not just because he's a club mate or anything. It's just because I know how he plays. It's Matt. Just because he's so well practiced, and yeah, you guys are talking about shooting lists and stuff. But like Reese is gonna shoot him off. But Matt's no joke when it comes to like measuring and zoning out to avoid that as much as he can. And also those flesh hounds aren't no joke. Are no joke. They are so good for what they do. And it is a movement game. And those flesh hounds fulfill that role. It's not a shooting game. It's not 40k. So
you've got to remember about the Kadai too. There's 12 of those guys who can move 14 inches and then charge.
Yeah, so that's one unit, and he's got
a Skullcracker.
And then Matt's got 5 of that. So I reckon it's going to be a close game, but my vote's Matt.
All right, so, yeah. Good unbiased opinion there.
That's fine.
Let's put it on the stream. First game.
Well, yeah. If only we had the stream. Unfortunately, Nick is stretched with that activity. So they're the lists, and I think very interesting. I think we've got some listener questions we'll go through, and then we'll kind of wrap up with who's going to win it. So I'll take the first one. Liam, you take the second one. The first one is a listener caller, friend of the show, Ash McEwan, and he asks, do you consider your army to be a meta list, a counter meta list, or a gatekeeping list? Do you have another category that you would find yourself in? So how do you see the list that you're submitting? Dave, I might start with yourself. How do you see it? Are you meta, counter meta, bit of a gatekeeper, or something else?
I got no idea. I'm the upside down meta. Yeah, I don't think ogres are meta. I don't think they're anti-meta.
I think yours is a gatekeeper.
Okay,
I think yours is a gatekeeper for sure, because it's definitely polarized to if you can deal with the Stonehorns and the Iron Guts, then you've got a way to deal with it. But if you don't, then it's going to walk over a lot of combat armies as well. So
I'm coming for you, Matt.
Joel, how do you see your list?
Well, everyone's going to say that mine's an on-meta list, but I think mine's a spin-off of a meta list. So I've jumped ahead, I think, and so like Slaanesh, they're the king of the activation wars, right, with the Locust. I like to think that my list is the king of kings. So it's just unfortunate there's no other Slaanesh armies there. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Cool. Matt?
New army. I don't know. I think it might end up being the meta at some stage, but I don't know. It's new. I don't know. I just picked it because it's new, and it's death, and I play death. I don't know.
Probably a gatekeeper leading into CanCon. I imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of Bone Reaper armies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the tools to deal with that high armor save, then you're not going to be able to get through it.
Yeah. And Ash, how'd you rate yourself?
Well, I designed the list to be a gatekeeper, but it's turned out to be kind of counter meta with all the chaos armies that are there. So I think it's landed as counter meta.
And before we move on to the next question, Ash, do you just want to quickly define or just give people a bit of an idea of what a gatekeeping list would be versus a counter meta would be?
Sure. So, say for instance, let's take the Bone Reapers. So they're a great example of a gatekeeper list, because if you have mortal wounds, you can take them off the board. If you don't, you're going to struggle. Or if you don't have higher end, you're going to struggle. And so that can catch a few armies off guard. And if you, the way that the gatekeeper works is that it's not likely to win the tournament, but it might stop some of those stronger lists from getting through to round 3 or 4 on the top tables.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Sick. So this next question is pretty much targeted towards Matt and Dave. So this is from Rocco, a good friend of the show. So for anyone bringing one of the new books to the Masters, what attracted you to the new army that you're comfortable enough going away from what you got to the Masters status to being with? So Dave, you kind of gave us a little bit of insight into this, but if you want to expand on it more, of like what made you decide, like what made you feel comfortable to bring ogres to Masters to defend your title?
It's a bit of a gamble, to be honest. There's a lot of other armies out there, I think, that would have been in a more comfortable position, aka Fire Slayers. I think if I'd taken Fire Slayers, I'd feel like very confident. But yeah, I really wanted to play Destruction for this, and you know, I don't expect to win this one, nor do I think I probably should.
So is Destruction your excuse? Like at the end of it, you're like, oh, I ran Destruction.
Oh no, I'll just blame it on being bad this year. I'll take it straight on the chin. Whoever beats me, and it's although it's only 10 people, which is a bit disappointing. They're 10 pretty good people, so yeah, gamble.
Cool. Nice. Matt, is it a gamble as well?
My other option was so I was going to play Death, I think, no matter what. But as I alluded to earlier, my other lists that I've been playing this year have sort of changed a bit anyway. And look, I knew there was definitely going to be one Slaanesh, being Joel, and I thought Hoops was going as well. So I thought there was going to be at least 2 Slaanesh, and I knew my Death army doesn't deal with Slaanesh at all, because if I'm not striking first, and against Slaanesh, my Death army, normal Death army, was just going to die, was just going to get wiped off the board. So to take an army that doesn't tend to get wiped off the board is sort of my little chance of maybe surviving to turn 3 in a game against Slaanesh or something like that. But so that was kind of my idea behind it. Yeah. It's probably not the right idea as far as I don't know the army that well. I haven't played it that well. But yeah, look, all my other options with what I've got painted and stuff at home, I just don't think I had that competitive enough list. Like, this is probably my as competitive as sort of as I could build quick enough and paint. So yeah.
You're definitely one of the people that I'm going to be messaging nearly all the time throughout the weekend, being like, how are they going? Because I really want to see a good result.
And I think
some hope.
And I think a lot of Ogre players are going to be very curious on how Dave goes as well. So make sure to keep those socials updated.
100%. So the next two questions from the same person. So the first one he's asked, this is Michael Thompson. He said, when it comes to results, do you think it's your ability to write a list or the ability to play the game? So he's pretty much saying, like, is it your army list that makes you pretty much win the game, or is it your skill, or it can be both in a way? So Joel, what do you think?
I think I said this a bit earlier in the stream that lists are largely irrelevant in the Masters. I think when you walk up to a table, you're actually going to be playing against the person. You have to try and out-general them. You know, that's my opinion on it all. Obviously, lists can go a certain way. If you take an army that can't be sort of just counted easily by, say, meta lists, Ash's list excluded here, obviously. Then you're basically just fighting against the other person across the table rather than the models that are actually on the table.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I got a pretty polarized opinion on this. I think that lists in AOS currently aren't a big deal. They might be down the lower end, even the mid pack of a tournament. But there's 2 prime examples of this that will back up my statement. One is Dan Brewer down in Sydney. He can run some pretty shit lists that other people wouldn't be able to use, and he does well with them. And then the counterpart up in Queensland would be Dean Matthews, and he runs absolutely garbage mixed destruction lists, but he pumps people. So, I don't think lists are a thing you really need to worry about unless you're aiming for the top.
I can probably go, Ash.
Yeah, I think definitely the middle table players will rely on a good list to get them through the middle tables and up to the 4-1 category. But any top players it'll come down to player skill, basically.
Yeah. So what I was going to say to back up Dave is I played both of those people. Like I have played Dean, and I'm not going to lie, he wrote some weird destruction list when I played him. It was like some weird old school orcs list.
He had a wyvern. He had the wyvern. He had like a
double
wyvern. Yeah.
Double wyvern and stuff. And I was just like, this is weird. And then he pretty much, I was playing Hagnar Daughters, and he messed me up real good. I can say that he messed me up real goddamn good. So I can back you up where I was like, this does not make sense. This should not be happening, but it did. Yeah.
I think
what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, look, I think they both go hand in hand. Like with say my old death list, I played it that much that I was rewriting it all the time. So, and in the end, I had a good list that I'd written. Obviously, it's not a list I got off the net. It was something I made up myself. But the more you play it, the better general you become anyway. But then you've got a good list as well. Like I think they sort of go hand in hand quite well. But I think if you're just starting with an army, as Dave was saying, it more comes down to the general. Like Dave, for example, I think a lot of his results, it's always a different army he's playing at tournaments. He's doing well all the time. So it's not like you could say he just plays chaos or he just plays destruction and nothing else. So it definitely it depends on the person, but I think a good player that plays a list a lot will be a good list writer, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, and learn, train, play in the chat said a really good point. It's like, knowing how to use your list to win in any of the battle plans is going to be key.
The expression I've been using for this particular conversation is don't play the list, play the game. And that's referring to yourself with that. So you should, when you walk to a table at like top level Warhammer, you should know exactly what your army does, and you shouldn't have to look up rules or anything. Then you should just be able to play the game better because of that, because you're focusing on what's happening on the table rather than what's happening with your rules. So
yeah, exactly. And one thing you did also mention, Matt, where like Dave is a good example, but I think most of the masters, I kid you not, I think everyone except for like 2 or 3 people have played different armies throughout the year and have done well with it. Like you got Ash with his Nighthaunt, which he did really well with. Then you got your Devoted, but Ash also did. And then Joel, you played 15 events, and I'm pretty sure you played like 15 different army lists. I kid you not.
Nothing was the same.
Yeah. So the Mayor, you've been playing the Death, but I think you also did some tweaks with your list. So everyone has played like different lists throughout the year and have done quite well with it. So it's kind of shows that like the Masters level players, it's not because of their lists, it's because of
Dave took Bone Splitters early in the year, took out a Breeze Hammer. You ran the Darkling Coven, so I think everyone's kind of shown it's more than just a list and a play style. It's getting that diversity and getting experience on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Next question is Chris Haller says, did they all shift armies and lists around the recent releases, or did they just stick and tried and tested their armies going into Masters? Kind of answered that earlier when I asked about practice games and stuff, and I think you guys all answered that quite well. But Ash, since you just came on, did you shift your armies or list around the recent releases, or have you tried and tested this army out heaps?
I've not played a game with this list. I was forced to shift this list around because of the Cities of Sigmar book, but it does play very similarly to the lists that I've been playing with my Devoted to Sigmar. So I've got experience with the units, but not so much with the list as it is in this iteration.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I think we've all answered this kind of question earlier when I asked, have you guys practiced any games for Masters? And I think you guys all said yes to an extent, except I think, Dave has practiced some games as well.
Just me.
Just you, Ash. Ryan Hooper has asked, being as the better as the meta is currently flip on its head, and how does everyone feel of the 10 mainly taking niche armies?
I think you're trying to say niche there.
Oh, no, but you were spelling, I was like, that's not niche. Niche armies in hopes to count the Slaanesh Fire Slayers we saw a few months ago. So, you guys written any army list to better it kind of thing? I do know you guys said you're hoping for more Slaanesh, but Ryan has disappointed us, funny enough, when he asked us this question.
Did you guys think there's going to be a Fire Slayer army coming? I know Chuck has played Fire Slayers through this competitive year.
No, look, I personally, I didn't really, I knew Slaanesh would be there, but that's the only. I just sort of knew I needed an army that could survive a bit more. That's why I went OBR. But I'm not really trying to break the meta. Like, I'm not trying to beat the meta. Just that's just what I'm taking.
Joel?
Look, I was expecting another Slaanesh army to be there, but I've never ran sort of on meta lists. I've always put my own spin on them, similar to how Matt runs his armies, like his Death Army, for example. So, like, while I am running Slaanesh, it's definitely not the typical Slaanesh. So I'm trying to catch people out with some different tech, and I want to actually show people what they're capable of. But, that's all I've got to say about that, really.
Sick.
I think it's pretty obvious that everyone's taking an army that they're comfortable with rather than trying to counter something. I think trying to counter something's a fool's errand.
Yeah.
You've got to take something that you're comfortable with. And that shows with them being niche-looking lists. It's more like the lists are a reflection of the player.
Yeah.
And it seems like we've all written our lists to be able to play into each scenario, because there is the 18 scenarios that are possible over the weekend, and that kind of ends up being a bit more of a well-rounded list rather than something that might be tailored towards the 5 scenarios are going to happen in an event. So
that's actually a really good call. So some of our international listeners, that's quite common. They don't announce the scenario or the battle plan until the day or 15 minutes prior. But certainly in the Australian culture, we announce our battle plans after list submission, but before the game. So you know well in advance potentially what scenarios you're going to play. So I guess to win the Masters, you need to be thinking about how your army list is going to handle all 18 scenarios.
Like, one thing I also want to bring up, I think 4 of us on this stream so far went to Masters last year, and I think we saw that everyone brought an army that they were comfortable with. I think everyone.
I was at Masters last year.
Did you play though?
You didn't say that.
Yeah, whatever. But I think we all brought army lists that we're comfortable with. So kind of like you kind of see that at every Masters, even the Masters before then, everyone brought armies that they were comfortable with. So
I'm not comfortable with mine.
You got your army done, which I'm impressed with. Super impressed that you've had like a month and a bit to do it.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah, sick.
Dino Matthews or D has asked, and very curious, interesting question, a bit of a side question from this is, how does everyone feel about traveling to Melbourne? So a bit of context, the Masters has traveled across the country every year. First one was in Brisbane, second one was in Sydney, third one is now in Melbourne. So how do you guys feel about traveling to Melbourne to play when there's only a couple of you guys actually from Melbourne? Joel, I know you're a little bit out of Melbourne, but there's only like 1 or 2 locals from Melbourne. Should the Masters be set in a location based on the amount of people who have qualified? So if there's more Queenslanders, it's based up in Queensland to attempt to minimize the travel, or, what are your thoughts on the rotating scape so far?
Well, I just want to chime in real quick. There was 5 out of the top 16 from Victoria who qualified for Masters. So I think by going off that logic, we're actually probably up there anyway. However, in saying that, I would have preferred it if it was in Bendigo instead of Melbourne this year.
Yeah, look,
personal preference, because you are from Bendigo. So just
Yes,
for context
yeah.
for people who are watching.
yeah, and look, to say, for example, you just have it in Queensland each year because there was more Queenslanders, then you're going to have the Victorian and the Sydney ones probably dropping out. So I don't know. I think we probably should try and look into having a centralized location for all 3 that are easy to get to, cheapest to get to. Look, it probably is a good idea that it changes each year, gives everyone a chance. And I think also when it changes to the middle of the year next time might be a lot easier for people too. Like, I think being this time of year is probably more the reason why people aren't going than where it actually is. And probably because where it is too, because people don't want to travel that far before Christmas. So I don't know how you change it, especially like now South Australia and even Victoria, they're starting to get a lot more players too, and a lot better players. So in 2 years' time, Victoria and South Australia, and that they could have the majority, and then if you've just got it in Queensland each year, then that majority might not be going because it's too far to travel. So I think you need to be able to move it around a bit, give everyone the opportunity. And it builds the communities in those other states as well.
Dave,
the
what
other
about yourself?
thing-
Oh,
Sorry.
gosh.
No. You were talking to Dave.
I was just going to ask, just because Dave, this is his third Masters, so he's obviously played locally in Brisbane. He's now travelled to Sydney, now travelling to Melbourne. What's your observations being you've been to all three now?
I guess they've all kind of felt the same, really. I mean, being in Brisbane, where it was hosted in Brisbane was about 10 minutes away from my house. So I'm not going to say that was bad. I really want it to be in Adelaide next year. I don't want SA to miss out. So it's only those 4 states, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Technically,
we're not going to move it to anywhere else.
No.
If they move it to Perth, it's a bad idea because no one wants to go to Perth. And Perth is really expensive to get to.
Well, this
Isn't
kind
it
of
its own country now?
I don't believe it exists. I think that's a conspiracy theory.
This kind of leads into what Ryan Hooper's asked in the chat. And again, for our friends on the podcast, Ryan has said, what do you guys think of having a state-based Masters and then leading into like an Aussie championship? So, having something a bit more local that kind of feeds into a top. Maybe Ash first. What are your thoughts on that? And then I'll throw to Dave and then the group.
Well, I guess the same question still comes up, like where do you hold the Australian Championships? And I think even just logistically, it becomes difficult for the TOs to have 5 different venues, say, for instance, and have them all locked in months in advance, and then all of a sudden cancel on 4 of them because the majority of people are going to be playing in, like, for instance, if what happens if the majority of people end up from the Adelaide scene, and then it means that you have a lot more people traveling. And yeah, I think from the perspective of doing a state-by-state Masters, I think that would be fine. Like, I don't think it would affect the Australian Masters, but it's more about whether the logistics of doing the Masters in the location that the majority are from is that's kind of where it becomes a bit of a problem.
And can I just jump in too? Like, everyone that complains about traveling for tournaments, like where I live, it's a minimum. I'm a minimum 3 hours from any. Like, I think Joel's Bendigo is probably the closest tournament for us, like from Albury, and then Canberra's the next, and then anywhere from there we've got to fly anyway. Like, I'm traveling for every tournament anyway. Like, anyone that's really going to whinge about it, I just there's a lot of people that have to travel anyway. Like, I don't
self-imposed punishment.
Like, and even like Randy from Tassie, like, he manages to get himself to a lot of tournaments, and he's traveling for all of them. Rocky from up to Cairns, he travels around Australia, like,
So it's probably an expectation that there is some level of travel involved to become a Masters level player. Doing it maybe in your local patch maybe is not enough.
Yeah, possibly. Like, I'm not saying.
I'm not trying to create a war between certain states.
I don't think people should have to travel. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying from a point of view, like my point of view, where I do have to travel for pretty much every event. Like, then for me to have to travel to Masters, it's not an issue. Like, it's just something that, that's just part and parcel for me with tournaments anyway. So
us country boys are different to the city folk, though, mate. We're used to traveling. We're used to driving the 3, 4, 6 hours to go somewhere.
Yeah.
As I said,
just getting across
self-imposed
Sydney,
punishment.
Those blokes in the cities won't even drive 20 minutes to go somewhere, mate.
You'd be lucky to get 5 minutes away instead of 20 minutes.
Yeah, the north side of
right.
Brisbane River, I don't cross.
Yeah.
I don't go over there. It's more than 20 minutes away. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life?
And and that's the other thing, like what people are saying in the chat. Like most of those major cities have a direct flight between major cities. Like obviously Albury does fly to Sydney and fly to Melbourne, but if we're going to get to Brisbane, it's at least two flights. Or if we're going to drive, it's like 13 hours or something ridiculous that I'm not going to do for a weekend tournament. So, yeah.
Just want to say real quick too. Oh, sorry, Coach.
Go.
I just want to say real quick too
please, Joel.
that there is direct flights from Bendigo to Sydney and back now. So there's no excuse for you guys not to come to Bush Bash next year.
I have been eyeing that flight off, to be honest, and you know, we're not saying that people aren't traveling. I think it's shown within the community that we literally only spoke not long ago about all running down to Adelaide to support Doom of Darkness with SAGT. So it's certainly there, but I think A. Huey's raised a really good point. Is that we are a lot of us are very fortunate in our positions to be able to easily find ourselves in another city via direct flight. So. I know we're not all in positions to travel. We might have family restrictions, and certainly things like Christmas is a very expensive time in the year and a very, very challenging time for certain people. But I'd like to think in the next competitive season, when we're looking at our Masters around July kind of, or August kind of 2021, hopefully some of these restrictions have been reduced.
Sick.
Can I take the next one, Liam?
Yeah. What I was going to say quickly about the championships is, I think it's a good idea, especially since we've got 16 months to wait for the next Masters. So maybe next year, if someone from each state or whatever, like the Masters committee, just want to run an event or something, would be sweet. But yeah. Now, Elizabeth, who's on the chat, I think still, she's asked, which player would you hit in the knee to eliminate from the tournament because you worry about the list army they are bringing? And in all seriousness, do you have any preparations or rituals for good luck that can give you before a big tournament?
Joel.
Yeah, Joel. I want to hear Joel.
I've already got one.
I'll poison him with lots.
I'm gonna take out Joel's second knee.
So I'll find a way. When there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to be there.
Ash, what's the next body part?
I mean, if we're ganging up on Joel, it's not going to be a question, is it?
That's all right, mate. I can handle it.
That answers
I have no doubt.
So we're all taking Joel out.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm not involved. I'm not taking Joel out. But it sounds like Joel is being kneed and capped and taken out. But
I think honestly, though, I'd probably hobble Matt if I could, because I think that level of player can cause problems for all of us. So
I was actually saying, why the knees? Why not the hands? Because then how can they roll dice?
With your feet, Liam. With your feet.
With an app. With a dice app.
Okay, someone mute Magro. Can we mute Magro? None of that shenanigans here. But any good luck rituals, or is there anything where you guys kind of do where you just hope, or everyone's just like, no, we do not do that? Yeah, cool, awesome.
Joel, you drink a lot the night before?
Joel drinks a lot. I was going to say, Joel drinks heaps. Isn't that it?
I've had 4 cans on this stream, so it's it just is what it is. But on Twitter, go find it somewhere. Dan Unsupervised, he put up a tweet saying you guys got a morning ritual or whatever before a tournament. I'm not going to say it on here because it's a bit inappropriate, but go find that tweet. That's funny.
Oh, God. All right.
Isn't that just an every morning ritual?
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm assuming the ritual was get up, make breakfast, and have a coffee. Please don't demonetize.
This is way before getting up.
Don't demonetize my channel, Joel, please.
That's what I'm saying. Go find the tweet if you're interested. Bit of a laugh anyway.
One question from Matthew Timmis asks, if you had to pick one army to buff in AOS, which would it be, and what change would you make to make that army stronger or more competitive in the current environment? What do you guys think?
Slanesh, obviously.
Sorry, what?
Get out.
No, you'd what you'd do is, to make Slanesh better, right, is you reduce the effectiveness of the locus right? And then you drop the points of Fiends by about 60 points. And then the army's
Agreed.
suddenly 100% better.
Agreed. We need more Fiends.
We do.
I think
Hashtag make them 160.
the
Yes,
Locust
oh
should
my
be a
God.
4 up on your greater demons and a 6 up on normal heroes. Something
No, it's
like
fluffy. You'd go 3 up, 5 up, reduces the effectiveness. It's enough. Enough to
I
tweak
don't
it.
mind the Locust, to be honest. The depravities what gets me. I reckon if you spend all of your depravity in one go, so you can only ever put one keeper on the table, then that'd sort of solve a lot of the problems.
The reason why, sorry, just sidetrack off Masters here.
right.
The reason why Slaanesh is so strong, in my humble opinion as a Slaanesh player, is because of the Locust, right? So you reduce the effectiveness of the Locust, you reduce the effectiveness of the double piling from the keeper because your opponent has a more engaging experience to then attack you and damage you and potentially kill you before you get to pile and attack twice.
Hashtag,
and
is it my
then-
turn yet?
Yeah. And then because of that happening, you get less depravity point generation and all your heroes are dead because the Locust isn't reliable. Just tweak the Locust.
Agree.
Fucking at me.
Say that to me when on turn 3 you've got 110 depravity and you put 3
that's
of your
fine.
keepers on the table.
That's fine. That's all good because if the Locust wasn't popping off and me killing all your stuff, it would be a different story.
I do. The one comment I do agree is make Fiends great again. Those are the models that I loved. And I kid you not, when I was packing up my Slaanesh, I was quite upset, but I was packing up the Fiends.
I've got 15 of them. Where are we? This shoulder, just there somewhere along there.
That makes me
Fiends.
so happy to hear. It makes me so happy.
My army
Matt?
that I would think of, I sort of have a quick thing about it today. Maybe make Blood Knights summonable again and make a Soul Blight army. With
Cool. I'm down for that.
vampires. Yeah, vampires on foot, like Thralls, Idoneth Thralls, something similar like that.
Yep. I can go around that. Ash?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think most of the books are in a pretty good place these days. There's not really anything that you immediately lose because you've taken that army anymore. I guess the only thing that you'd maybe look at is putting a bit of a boost on some of the lesser used cities and that sort of thing within the allegiances. So like the Craith from Daughters of Cain and that sort of thing. Like not the allegiance itself, but some of those books where they're a bit skewed over to one list.
Yep. Dave?
KO need a rewrite entirely to buff them.
Yep.
Stay tuned. Won't be long.
My heart says Stormcast because I do like Stormcast. They've fallen a little bit away, but I agree with Ash. I think what they need to do is actually improve the internal balance of books to move away from the singular sub-factions that are always being played.
Anthony?
Make Liberators great again.
Make what
I
great
agree.
again?
Liberators.
Oh, did you see Doom's tweet?
Yeah, I did, but it's been a long time that I thought that Liberators were the baseline for everything AOS, and you just don't see them anymore. Makes me sad. And Stewie in the chat as well. I agree. Zench Demons. I've got a massive Zench Demon army. I love them and make them good outside of the change host.
My answer is going to be very unpopular. And the way I'm going to word this is
I've got
Just
my
mute
one ready
him
to
now.
mute you.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay,
say Sylvaneth.
No. It's not Sylvaneth.
I've muted him. Yeah.
Awesome.
He
The
doesn't
next
know.
question.
No, I really want Daughters of Cain due to I want them to be more skillful to play, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's too easy, and I want them to be fixed so it actually takes skill to play it, if that makes sense. Similar to like what Joel said about Slaanesh.
That's
In a
what
way
I want
where
as
you-
well, yeah.
Where, for example, Hagnar, it can be the rerollable ability where they can reroll their Fanatical Faith, and then the 5-up thing can be a prayer where only one unit can get it. Like, if they can just switch that around, Hagnar, you'll start seeing people take the other ones because they go, I can have the 5-up on that one unit if I take Drakey or whatever and stuff. Like, give people, like, don't make it too obvious. If that makes sense, would be great. And I think daughters, they're a cool model range. But at the moment it's a bit too easy. And also Marathi is busted, and I've had it everyone knows my thoughts on that.
Lizzie Lockhart's nailed it as well. She said bring back the Wanderers, but more importantly the War Dancers. I miss those little Wood Elf War Dancers.
Yeah.
How cool are they?
They're cool. But yeah, that's it really. I can't believe you muted me. What a dick.
No, I can. I almost booted you in the stream earlier. So we have wrapped up with the last of the listener questions, and I wanted to provide any of you an opportunity, like a wrestling promo. I'm going to put you on full screen if you want to do this to either promote yourself and say why you're going to win the event, trash talk your opponent in a very fun manner. Don't actually trash talk them and make them cry. Does anyone want to tell the audience why they're going to win Masters, and like stare right in the barrel of the camera and cut your promo?
I reckon Dave will be good at this. Go on, Dave.
All right, I'm going to put Dave on big stream. Dave, the Mango Mafia, the back-to-back master himself. Why are you going to win this?
Got to figure out where my camera is. Right. I'm going to win my first game because my first game's basically already over. It's a walkthrough. Best mission and probably the worst list going. And then from there, it's just going to be all up. And Gottrek's not coming, so, mate, I got this in the bag. It's all me, baby.
Said like a master. Said like an absolute master. No Gotrek, which means nothing's going to stop the master. Does anyone want to retort? Anyone want to say their 2 cents?
Bring it, Joel.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, Joel.
Where are we? There. I'm going to win because I'm running the Crutch Slanesh army.
Accurate.
Matt.
I'm going to win because no one knows what my army does, and everyone's just and I don't know what it does, but that's all right. I'll work it out as the weekend goes. No one will be able to kill me. I'll be just standing there with all my army at the end of the game, every game, laughing in your face. Yeah.
Love it. Now, Ash is looking really awkward. Like, please don't look at me. I don't want to say it. Do you want to do it, Ash?
Yeah, I can wrap it up with this. I reckon I'm going to win because no one knows what my army does either. It'll also shoot off the Slanesh list. So, yeah, with Gotrek not being there, I think we're all pretty good, right?
I love how there's all these master level players and have all said pretty much I'm scared of Gotrek, but like Gotrek is not really one of them. I think except Dave, you did really well with Gotrek, didn't you, the other weekend?
Yeah, I did. He's boss. He's a bowler. He's really good.
Yeah, that's the reason why I took 2 of the Exalted Chariots for you. In case there was a Gotrek around, one of them just takes him off the table.
That's why I've got 2 units of 40 flagellants as well.
Nice. Yeah.
I think we got a nice way to wrap this up. We've got 2 requests. One from Elizabeth asking for a Macho Man voice. Anyone want to take a stab at doing the Macho Man?
No.
You do it, Magro.
I just did it.
Do it again, full screen.
Do it again. Full screen. You got to do it again.
No. I want to do something.
Gotta do it.
I want to do the Hulk Hogan. Does anyone want to take a stab at Hulk Hogan?
Here's what I'm going to do, brother. He's good.
No way. No way.
What you gonna do, brother, when the 2-time master is coming wild at you? No, it was really bad. I'm not a Hulk fan.
That was horrible.
Seth. That was really bad. I'm The Rock. I'm all about The Rock. But guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining the stream. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you guys have 5 fantastic games. I wish one of you becomes the master or retains the master. It'll be very curious to see how you guys go and who you're matched up with and what that outcome is. Is there any shout outs you guys want to make? If people wanted to chat to you further, where can they find you on the internets? Dave, you are the master. You retain.
Yep. I'll go shout out to me boys in Mango Mafia, obviously. The Brishammer crew. If you guys are looking for a really good event in Brisbane, I reckon the Brishammer boys put on the best tournaments in Queensland. And I've forgotten what else. I think that's it.
All right. Well, Best of luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the photos with your shoes off and your power stance.
I'll be power stancing it up big time.
Joel,
Coming for you.
I'll give a shout out to my boys as well. They're better than the Mango Mafia Measured Gaming. Yeah, so I reckon we run the best tournaments in Victoria, funnily enough. And yeah, so shout out to those guys. Shout out to Bush Radio. Go listen to our podcast. Go watch our battle reports on Measured Gaming on YouTube. That's pretty much it. Find me at Joel McGrath MG on Twitter.
fantastic. While we're talking clubs, we might as well bring up Ash.
All right, yeah, I'll give a shout out to Clan Filth. We're one of the most competitive clubs in the whole scene. So I think that's been proven 2 years in a row at Rune's team tournament. So let's see some of those team spirits coming to the team tournaments. We'll see if we can get some competition going in there. But I'm also at Ash_McEwan on Twitter, so you can find me there.
Such a nice person. You can't argue with that. You're like, I want to be mad at you, Ash, but I can't. You're such a nice person. And finally, Mayor, when you're not, kissing babies, looking after old people and shaking their hands, doing the mayoral duties, where can they find you?
On the internet, Twitter, Facebook, pretty easy to find. Shout out to the Borderline Gaming crew from Albury Wodonga. Yeah.
What's your Twitter handle?
I don't know. You'll probably put it underneath this video.
I will. I'll put it all in the episode description on the podcast and on the I'll do your work.
Thanks.
Liam, where can they find you?
On
Lol, I muted him.
Best.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm muted.
at Shadowhammer _ on Twitter, on Facebook, and the Cine page, or my name, Liam Burnett Blue. People can message me asking for list advice or whatever. And then on this show, clearly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, shout out to Clan Filth as well. They're great. Great. All right, I'm going to end this with Learn, Train, Play has said something. I'm not going to Masters this year, but I will say, finally, the coach has come back to the Masters.
Oh God, that was terrible.
That was all right.
We should just cut it there, I reckon.
I'm muted. Lols. All right, guys, this is an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best of luck, and let's see who wins it on the weekend.
See you boys
Thanks,
on
guys.
Friday.
Cheers, guys.
See you
Hey, guys, safe travels. Bye.